this has been brought to our eXp Realty agents and partners. And the reason is really amazing, really powerful. We're at a unique time in history. We're at a unique time in this industry. And there are unique global conditions that have never existed before, right? Number one, technology more than ever has enabled any person from where they are to build and grow a brand, to reach consumers and businesses in a way that's never existed before. And at the same time, as a real estate space is evolving, and as technology is enabling us to reach more people across the globe than we've ever been able to reach, buyers, sellers, consumers, agents, business partners, vendors, what we see is this convergence on the eXp Realty platform where large organizations that have access, reach, and influence across the real estate space and with a large number of consumers are finding opportunity on this platform. And so we're going to talk throughout this event about that influence, about that leverage, and how that's going to help you drive success in a way that's never been possible before. So let's first define what a large organization looks like and what we're talking about, the subject of today's conversation. So large organization is the term that eXp Realty uses to represent entrepreneurs and business owners that run successful companies and brands outside of eXp with at least 1,000 licensed real estate agents in their database. And if you look inside the eXp Realty landscape, if you're familiar with Tarek El Moussa or Grant and Elena Cardone, these are examples of large organizations that aren't joining as one real estate agent. They're not bringing a small team or brokerage, but rather they're bringing a network of business development resources. They're bringing access to people across the US and globe. And these kinds of celebrities and social media influencers are partnering with eXp Realty. So we define that as large organizations. And so there are eXp Realty agents and there are partners not yet at eXp that are in relationships with these large organizations. And what you may not know yet is what to do when you have these relationships and these partnerships. How do you start the conversation, to Susie's point here in eXp World? And so what we're going to bring you over the next 3 days are speakers and people that have experienced success in partnering with these large organizations, that have helped these organizations join eXp, that understand what the opportunity looks like for these partners, and again, are going to be that bridge to help level up what eXp Realty looks like, our reach and our access all across the globe. So the way that we're going to kick off this event is absolutely the way it should begin. I've talked about leveling up, and there's someone, a leader in our eXp family, that actually uses that phrase quite often. I can recall being in a room back in May of this year where this gentleman was addressing a group of senior leaders from across the company, and his challenge, his battle cry, I don't know if he remembers this, was to level up. And most visionary entrepreneurs are on that quest, pushing for progress, pushing for the opportunity to go where we haven't gone before, take us where that vision says we should go. And it is my privilege and honor to introduce the visionary founder of eXp, the CEO of eXp World Holdings, Chief Strategy Officer for Verbella. I think if I keep listing all the things he's doing, we'd run out of the 20-minute time we have. Good morning, Glenn Sanford. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Curtis. Hey, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for inviting me in, and thanks for this. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a shot and see if my webcam will kick on. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if it works, see, or not, I'm not seeing me. I've been having trouble with the webcam. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. You know, Curtis, thanks for setting the stage. You know, leveling up is really, in my mind, it's an introspective journey. And what I mean by that is that, you know, there's the way that you think about your goal setting and how it's traditionally done. And normally it's like, we're going to put a number on the board and we're going to go for it. And that is, in a lot of respects, an outward journey. It's going for something, but leveling up is really an introspective journey, and it really takes us from a position, in my opinion, from extracting value, which is generally speaking the way most businesses are set up, to adding value and growing the pie. And that's really, if you think about what eXp has built, we've built, a business model that adds value and grows the pie and shares that pie with everyone. And so when you think about, as you build your businesses, think about, how do you add value, grow the pie, and then share that new value with others. And if you really sort of retool your business in a way that adds value, then you can really almost hit that sort of Zig Ziglar phrase, which is, you can have anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. So for me, as we think about, large businesses, large organizations, a lot of it is about, and I love the slide that's running in the background, it's level up your influence, level up your success, or level up your leverage, level up your success. And leveling up, as I mentioned, is an introspective journey, not an external journey, even though the fruits of that introspective journey will actually be seen by others by having more influence, more leverage, and more success. And it really has to do with, how do you, and I love the phrase, and I forget the gentleman who said it, but Gandhi, I think, said it. It was, be the change you want to see in the world. Instead, maybe change it to, be the agent you want to see in the world. And a lot of us, sort of, if we can sort of change our perspective, and we come to every relationship as a place to add value and not as a place to extract value, what ends up happening is you grow your influence, you grow your leverage, and ultimately, as you sort of play the long game, you grow your success. And really, that's what it's all about. It's really about this idea of, how do you play the long game so that you do have the resources and the relationships, as we all get older. One of my phrase I joke around with is, nobody gets out alive. That's kind of my running joke. And but at the same time, it's something that we all have in the back of our mind, is there will be a point in time where we're either not interested in, or we won't be able to, quote unquote, work. We won't be able to extract value from the business of real estate, which has traditionally been real estate commissions. But if we add value, we grow the pie, and we share that pie with others, there will be an unlimited amount of value that can continue to play a role in your life as you get older. And so I think that really is, if I think about sort of setting the stage, be the agent you want to see in the world. Be the team leader, be the large organizational mastermind. One of the cool things about real estate is there's a huge, and if you're in business, you hear the term TAM, which means total addressable market. And obviously, you start to think about real estate is a huge total addressable market that can be divided up and to multiple different verticals and ideas. But the market is bigger than any of us can really fathom, with our minds. That just the idea that there are millions of real estate transactions that take place every quarter, and yet as an individual agent, we might be part of 10, 15, 20 of those transactions out of the millions, the backdrop of millions of transactions. And yet there's a challenge that every single person that's out there doing transaction has, and that is, what happens if I get hit by a bus? And so when we think about, solving challenges for people who we're trying to help, and then moving them from a business that owns them, meaning that they're in the value extraction business, and move it move them into a business that they own, where they're in the value add business. That's really, I think, what this, what this event is all about. And so, eXp solves so many challenges. I mean, we started it 12 years ago tomorrow. So that's a pretty unique date in time. October 6, 2009, we launched eXp with 25 agents with the totally crazy idea of building a nationwide single brokerage that operated in all 50 US states, and now, of course, 18 countries, well beyond our original thinking. We I think fantasized about the fact that this could go, to Canada or to, maybe a couple other markets, but we never thought that it would be this large. But it really came down to this idea of building a business that solves the biggest pain points for agents, and made it, cost effective to hang your license at eXp, and then, built, the revenue sharing model the way we did, operated, and then the equity model. And that whole idea, and you can kind of see the theme: add value, grow the pie, and share the pie. That is a winning formula that anybody could, if they choose to, make part of their own value proposition as an agent, as a team leader, as a company owner, and think about, what are the unique ways that you can add value to people's lives. It could be, very simply, a one-on-one conversation over lunch on how to help an agent do more business, and without asking for something back of value at that point in time. You just are simply adding value to others, especially if you've already been successful. This group here in this room, many of you have already been highly successful as individual agents, brokers, business owners, and influencers. And the more that you can just add value back to others, the more that you're going to, again, grow your influence, so that when you have that inspiration, that idea, that way of changing the industry or the business or what have you, people will want to gravitate toward you, not because of what you've extracted, but how you've influenced their lives. And so that really, in my opinion, is really the strong value proposition. Obviously, you start to think about eXp as just a global real estate platform, one where, no matter where you go in the world, even if we're not open there today, there's an opportunity to be part of this adding value to people's lives, helping people think about their business differently. So, at the point that, we do grow into a market, or you have an opportunity to bring to that market, the soil's already been plowed. You've already got good seeds there, and now it's just a matter of watering it with the right type of water. And so one of the interesting things about the way that we've structured the model, and go back into my history briefly before I turn it back over to Curtis and team, but as an agent, I did recognize early on that, that there were certain things I was good at. I was good at internet lead gen. I was a decent salesperson. I was better at internet lead generation in the early days than I was a salesperson. But the cool thing about lead generation is it puts you in front of enough prospects that eventually you figure out how to actually, sell. And then if you've got a good mentor, they will then help you ultimately get out of your own way and actually do the things necessary to actually be successful. And I think, as we were, we expanded from there to actually running real estate teams, and so, Brian Colhane in Phoenix, Arizona, was one of the first team leaders outside of Bellingham, Washington. That and part of it was because I like to go to Arizona, but the other was there was somebody else that had wanted me to help them with some lead gen, and they didn't really do a lot with it, never got paid for those activities. And so that's how, we expanded. And I learned that the places that I visited physically were the places that grew. And so I thought about that from 2004, 5, 6, 7, and then going into 2009 and said, how do you distribute leadership? How do you add value all over the world or anywhere that you want to work without always having to jump on a plane? Of course, this last year with COVID, a lot of people learned that you could, in fact, have various meetings, conversations, and other with other people without physically sitting belly to belly. There might be even a health risk, for sitting belly to belly. But the reality is that there's technology. You're in one version of technology that allows you to have conversations and be part of conversations with people as if they were the same physical space with you, and yet you can be anywhere in the world as long as you've got a decent internet connection. And so as you build your business, think about, how do you distribute leadership? How do you work in the geographies that you want to work in? How do you have an opportunity that's bigger than one single market? And what are the various things that you need to bring to that opportunity that allows other people to have the same opportunity, or in some cases, an even better opportunity than the opportunity that you have just putting the infrastructure in place? And so, that really is the backdrop of leveling up, because at the end of the day, again, that Zig Ziglar phrase, you can have anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. And so with that, Curtis, I know it was just a quick intro here this morning, but I wanted to just bring that to the group. This is all about the introspective journey of leveling up, figuring out if things are not working in your business. Don't look outside, look inside. There's something that you're doing, some way that you think, some programming that you have from wherever it came from that probably is blocking you from actually getting to the next step. And once you own that and own it with gratitude, which is another really interesting, we could talk for an hour just on that, but own the things that are that are blocking you with gratitude. That actually then gives you permission to make the changes necessary to now start to add value. Go from extracting to adding value, and then continue the introspective journey. It never ends. It's not like you do an introspective journey and all of a sudden the world changes. It's an introspective journey that you literally do almost on a daily basis, and sometimes multiple times a day, to level up and then be the agent you want to see in the world. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Curtis.
Glenn, thank you so much for not ever stopping on your journey. Thank you for continuing to be introspective and continuing to level up. And thank you for being the leader that you've always wanted to see in this world. There are tens of thousands of agents across the globe that thank you. And I'm sure many tens of thousands to come that when they see this opportunity to add more value that solves more challenges than anything else out there, they're going to be ready to move on to that path with gratitude. So thank you again. Thank you for kicking us off this morning. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Curtis. Thanks, everyone.
What a great start to this Level Up event. I see that there are hundreds more in here than were here just about 15 minutes ago. So a quick morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the first ever Level Up event held live in eXp World. We are so glad that you all are here. We are not only talking about leveling up, talking about creating leverage, success, and influence, but we are specifically opening up the conversation around why large organizations would choose to join and partner with eXp Realty. And if you haven't ever heard the definition or kind of thought about a large organization and what that means at eXp, agents and teams and brokerages are the early adopters of this opportunity. And they see that value, that pie, because as Glenn talked about in the real estate market, people have been looking for things that add more value to an agent's life and solve more challenges for an agent. But what's also happening is there are other entrepreneurs and business owners and celebrities and social media influencers that have connectivity across the real estate space. They have a large database of real estate agents because they're coaches or trainers, or they have influence in the real estate space because they're celebrities that are on home and garden television, right? So there are these large organizations that are wondering what's going on here at eXp Realty. And just like every agent, every team, and every brokerage finds that winning formula that Glenn talked about when you arrive at eXp, the value, growing the pie, and then the ability to share that pie, so do these large organizations. So very excited to introduce our next speaker, an amazing trainer, author, speaker, radio show host, president of the Montiel organization. I remember meeting this gentleman when he first came into this eXp Realty ecosystem, and Orlando right away saw that opportunity that Glenn was talking about, has been working for decades on solving and addressing those challenges. So I'd like to welcome the one and only Orlando Montiel. If you're here with us, Orlando, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Curtis. Can you hear me?
We've got you loud and clear. We appreciate you being here. Stage is all yours.
All right, let's see if you guys can see me. I'm trying to turn on my camera. Let's see if I can do it. Can you guys see me right now? Yes, you guys can see me now.
Okay, we've got you.
There you go. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna try to upload my presentation, which is only 3 slides. So one second here. If I can show you this. I'm going to put it in Verbella right here. Let's see. Jordan, do you have my presentation by any chance?
I think we've got it, Orlando. I will see if we've got it on the right-hand screen here in just a moment. And if the slides will load, we will see them. So you can take control of the right-hand screen if you click Take Ownership, and then you can drive through. But I see them populating there with Why eXp Realty.
What happened here? All right. So can you guys still see me?
Oh no, your webcam's gone.
All right. So it happens sometimes. All right.
No problem. If you go back to webcam, I can drive the slides for you on the right-hand side, and you can.
Okay, the webcam right where I go right here. You know what? Let's see that right here. Webcam. There we go. You guys see me, right?
You're back.
All right, so it's just 3 slides. How many minutes do I have? 15 minutes, 10 minutes, Curtis?
Orlando, you've got 20 minutes.
Perfect, excellent. So let's get started. Please, guys, if you guys can get a piece of paper and a pen. I want this 15 to 20 minutes, something very productive for you. We founded an organization that coaches over 4,500 active paying members. All right. So I want you to see the opportunity for you. I want to start with the first slide. Curtis, if you help me out, says value, right? So let's talk about value. If you are a large organization, if you're a team leader, if you're a broker, if you're a coach, your business depends on what? On creating value, right? The more value you give to those agents, right, the better your business is going to be, right? So we identified and we created a group that is called C5. So let's talk about the first 4 C's that we see in a successful real estate agent, right? And what we saw at eXp. Number 1 is a unique, and I want you to see this. I want you to compare. By the end of this presentation, I want you to ask yourself that question. Can I provide, number 1, the level of compensation, all right? Unique, superior compensation to my agents, right? The more value I add, the more not only I attract agents, but also retain them, and more important, make them productive, right? So do I have a system of compensation, a compensation package for my agents that is not only dependent on the split, right? The commission is extremely important, number 1, but also do I have a compensation package? When we go, Curtis, and go to ask for, when we go to a company, a corporation, we don't only ask what's my salary, but what's the compensation package, right? In real estate, unfortunately, because of the previous models, we've seen that it's only about the split, right? So I have a phrase that it's now the conversation with our agents is not only how much is you're paying your company, how much is your company paying you, right? So I want you to research the compensation package you can offer your agents. That's what we saw only 15 months ago. Now, bear in mind, when we partnered with eXp, had no agents at the time, right? The beginning of the partnership with eXp, only month later, all right, is over 1,100 agents. Think about it, all right, which is point number two, which is exponential growth. And we're going to get there, right? We got about 20 minutes. So number one is value. Can I offer a compensation package to my agents that make them, right, more profitable, retain them, right, long term, and they can offer that to somebody else, right? That's the beauty of the model, right? This is something we never saw before. Under the traditional model, you can't build teams, right, under the same teams. You can't do that, all right, unfortunately. So I want you to see that, research a little bit more of that. Number two, coaching. Now, in this community, you have different coaches from different backgrounds. That's the second C, coaching. Can I offer a sales and marketing coaching to my agents that does not depend only on me? If you're a broker, if you're a team leader, you are busy. And of course, you want to give the best of yourself to your agents. I get that. But what about if you have also other very experienced coaches from different backgrounds that can help your agents too? So it doesn't rely, it doesn't rely only on you. Got it? That's number two. Number three is what we call the centralization of systems, right? When you own a brokerage, you know it's very expensive to provide the CRM, the email marketing content, the automation, the segmentation, all those tools, right? Now, can we centralize those tools, right, onto one system that allows the agent not only to be more efficient, right, and effective, but also save them money? Very, very, very important, right? And the fourth thing that we saw, at the end of the day, right, the community allows us to what? To see something we've never seen before, which allows us to think in a completely different way, which allows us to what? To act in a different way. At the end of the day, those are the four things that we saw with this model, right? So I want you to ask value for my agents right now, other than just a split, right? Number two, do I have that environment? Do I have that environment that allows them and me to grow? All right. So number one, Curtis, I think you have it in the screen. It's value. All right. Do I offer that value? And Glenn, was very specific about adding value. There's a saying also, if you want to make $1 million, help 1 billion people, right? So are we adding value? Our job as a team leader, as a broker, as a coach, whatever you are, you have a large organization. Your number one job is to add more value. The more value you add, right, the more money you'll make, the more money they'll make, the more you retain them. Now, number two, if you can go to the second slide, Curtis, I don't know if you're on the second slide because I'm looking at myself right now, right? I want you to see the exponential growth. And I showed those numbers because it's very important. As a coach, my style has always been show the numbers. The numbers speaks volume, right? I can say we coach X number of people, or our people have X production, but when you show it, then it's much easier to believe. If I tell you that our team has grown over 150 in the last 30 days, for most agents, for most brokers, will say that is impossible. That can be done. By the way, right? There are groups within eXp that are growing even faster than that, right? So understand the potential you have. You say, my number one job is to help more people, right? Imagine the number of people you can help. We've done, in 15 months, we've been able to help 1,100 agents. Now, there are other agents that have been able to help, 5,000, 10,000 agents. Now, imagine the impact you can have on those people. Some of you have 30 people in your brokerage. Some of you might have 300 people in your brokerage. But imagine having thousands of people. And this type of conversation, usually we don't have with, small team or just an agent. I'm talking to you guys, to the ones that have large organizations, and understanding the power of exponential growth because of the value we add, because of the unique, superior, non-disputable compensation eXp has, because of the coaching, because of the centralization of systems, and finally, to me, the most important thing, the community, all right? Very, very important. So do we have, all right, that growth? Do you have that growth right now that is exponential? can you add 150, 200, 300 agents per month? You can do that with this system. We've seen it many, many, many times. Now, Curtis, I'm going to go to the third part, which is extremely, extremely important. If you can go to the third point, which is the environment. That's actually more than the compensation, more than the exponential growth. To me, the most important part, and my brother, my business partner, was the environment. For most of you, as an experienced agent, leader, broker, coach, you are the biggest, you are the most experienced one, you are the most knowledgeable, all right? You're surrounded by junior agents, which is great. Amazing, you are contributing to those people. But you also want to spend time with what? With people that are your level, but very important, if you truly want to grow, and you know that, if you want to grow, you want to spend time with what? With people that have more success with you, right? We want to be humble enough to understand that, listen, I want to get there, but in order to get there, all right, I need that person. I need that person that is already there, right? There's a saying that goes like this. No, it's very difficult, all right, to see ourselves in the picture where we're inside the frame, right? There's something that we use in coaching, which is a very famous concept, which is don't ask yourself how, ask yourself who. Who can help me? And that's what we saw, right? It's not how I can grow my team, who can help me grow my team. And something that I experienced right from the beginning was the help from different people at different levels. People like Jay Kindler, I mean, those are heavy hitters. Tim Harris, right? Brent Gove, Jim Frederick, right? Of course, Glenn Sanford. I mean, come on. And they are right there. You have access to those people, right? That are very, very, very successful, and they are there to give you the formula. So at the end of the day, truly want to grow, right? It's not about how I can grow, it's about who can help me grow. And that was the biggest opportunity my brother Daniel and I saw at eXp a month ago. So just asking you those three questions. Can you offer that value to your agents, right? So you can attract more agents to your business, retain them, and finally make them more productive. Number two, at your current environment, do you have the opportunity, right, to have that exponential growth? Because if you're here, you are looking for that exponential growth, and that's the beauty of this type of meetings, right? That level up. That's the name of these sessions, right? How can I level up, right? You're looking for that, right? So, do I have that environment? Point number three, that allows me to provide that value so I can exponentially grow. But not only I can grow, but my team can grow. So we've been able to attract, right, a lot of brokers, because they saw that not only they can grow, but now they can offer that opportunity to their agents, Curtis. So I think those three things for me were the things that we saw that made it very easy for us to make the decision. Value eXp allows me to offer, exponential growth that we saw with other agents that have been in the company for a while, and finally the environment that would show us the way. That's it, Curtis. It's very simple. I think I did it in 10 minutes. We can have people ask questions, or we can expand a little bit more on those three topics. I talk about this the whole day. We have a 300 people seminar in Miami for the next 3 days about productivity. So I can talk about this for the next hour, but I want to be respectful of the time and see if somebody has any questions, Curtis.
I love it, Orlando. Thank you very much. Amazing. I mean, nothing worth having is overly complicated, right? This is not easy, but it's simple. It's straightforward. And I thank you for sharing transparently why you joined eXp. And it's amazing to see what your organization has done, how you've grown. We do have just about 5 or 6 minutes. So if you're sitting in the audience here live in eXp World and you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat box, and I will ask Orlando live and see if he can give you a little bit of time on his question. But if I look back at your slides, Orlando, and there's anybody sitting here in the audience today that says, wow, that exponential growth journey is amazing. I hear you and I believe in this opportunity, but was there ever a time, Orlando, maybe at the beginning or as this was growing, where it just it got beyond what you could kind of comprehend or believe. And if somebody's sitting here thinking, okay, but could that happen for me? How would that work for me? You know, how would you coach them through that introspective journey as Glenn was talking about, right? What have you seen that might just give them a little extra guidance today to making that decision or to believing it's possible?
Sure, listen, it gives me the chills. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Here's the beautiful thing. I spoke to several people at eXp, and they show me their growth. To me, that was, that was a proof. And that's the beautiful thing of the community, that not only you can talk to the person that invited you to one of these sessions to explore the eXp model, and to me it's more than a model, right? You don't join models, you join other people, but that exposed me to other people, that I had several conversations, not because I needed it, the proof, because after 2-3 people, that to me that was enough, but I had a lot of conversations that were very pleasant to me and opened my mind, right, to a completely different world. So I never had the doubt. Once I spoke to we had a conversation, 2 or 3 people in a Zoom call. I never had a doubt. And again, I have a very successful, you can research that, monterorganization.com, and you'll see all the companies that use our coaching. We have over 4,500 active paying members. And somebody said to me, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I said, "I never been more sure in my life in real estate." So, Curtis, at the end of the day, I'm available to anybody that wants to ask any question about the process, about the move. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one. There are so many other agents at eXp that will spend 15-20 minutes with you answering any questions you have. I'm one of them. Okay. By the way, you guys did that for me 15 months ago.
Orlando, well, thank you for that offer of contribution. Thank you for that amazing leadership. Glenn started this with be the leader you want to see in the world. Thank you for being that leader that you want to see in this eXp Realty family and ecosystem. You have agents in the chat box asking again, how do I get started? How do I get going? Orlando offered today. Send him a message, watch his videos, reach out, connect with him on social. That is the beautiful part of this family, this environment, Orlando, as you called it. So again, I just want to say thank you for your offer to help continue to grow. Thank you for being here this morning. This was fantastic. We enjoyed it. Appreciate you, Orlando.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it, Curtis.
Absolutely. So cool. Joining us live from Florida via video and webcam. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody. We've been celebrating the month of Hispanic Heritage Month. We are such a diverse community, celebrating, building, growing all across the globe. Absolutely loved it. That was fantastic. So that should have you fired up. That should have you excited. That should have you asking the questions that I see in the chat box, right? What do I need to do to get there? What do I need to do to experience that feeling of winning and helping others, right? Orlando said, you want to make $1 million, help 1 million people. That's simple. So now you're excited, you're motivated, you're fired up. If you're a big organization, you're asking yourself, is this real? How does this work? What does the opportunity really look like for me? Or you're asking yourself, how do I decide to make the move? How do I pull the trigger? What do I really need to get going? Well, it's in those moments where you're working on your identity and your values and your beliefs, and you're asking just for that push, that nudge, right? And I want to welcome the one and only CEO and founder of Michael Burt Enterprises, Coach Burt, who recently rocked one of the eXp Sprint events. Coach Burt, I already see you on the webcam, so I want to say welcome. Thank you for being here. Are you with us?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Good morning. We've got you loud and clear. Thank you for being here. Take it away, Coach Burt.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm excited about being in the eXp world here at eXp University. And that little dude looks just like me from behind. So I'm excited to be in the auditorium with you. I am fortunate right now to be coaching some of the top leaders at eXp, including the top volume group in Jimmy Williams in Texas, Jimmy Franklin in Texas, Jay Kinder, Al Stasik. I could go on and on about some of the top eXp people and teams that I'm coaching. So I'm excited about getting in this family and being in the university with you today. And I'm going to break down something that I'm working on in my 17th book called Flip the Switch. See, I've been coaching people now for 30 years, and I started first as a high school women's basketball coach. I was very, very interested in the psychology of inner engineering people to perform at a very high level, how to tap into the whole person, body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit of a person. So for a decade, all I really studied was how to give a person a competitive intelligence, how to activate a deep drive inside of a person to get them to want something, to want to improve, to want to perform, to want to play at the highest level, really to be interested in their potential. And moms and dads would drop their daughters off to me at 14 years old, and they all said the same thing. Coach, my daughter has a lot of potential, right? And which is an idea of kinetic energy that is stored till utilized. That potential has to be activated by something. And I'm going to show you today exactly how I activate that in some of the top agents in the world, specifically in their teams for replication and duplication. And if you're here today and you want this full presentation, this is a big concept, folks. This is my 17th book, about 60,000 words in this book. So I'm going to be giving away a full day of me breaking this down in a boot camp. My assistant Emma's going to basically post a number in the chat box. And if you want a full day of me breaking this big concept down, what I just literally did last week in a 2-day setting, all you have to do is text the word flip the switch. Those are 3 words, all caps. Emma will post it in the chat box, and I'll be happy to give you 2 full days of me breaking this concept down on how to activate the prey drive in a person. Now, this is very important. When moms and dads would drop their daughters off to me, they would all say the same thing. They would say, Coach, my daughter has a lot of potential, which is an idea of embryonic growth. We will be better today than we were yesterday. We'll be better tomorrow than we are today. Now, I would look at the mom and dad and say, well, what do you think your daughter needs? And they would say she needs coaching. She needs discipline, which is a derivative of the word disciple. She needs focus. She needs accountability. She needs structure. And every now and then they'd say she needs a good whipping, right? She needs a good discipline. But many times they would say she needs something, right? And I would say, well, thank you for bringing your daughter to the greatness factory, because we are going to manufacture your daughter's greatness. And we're going to go to work in 4 areas. So if you're taking notes, write these 4 areas down, because if you want to go from doing 20 deals a year to 40 deals a year to 60 deals a year, if you want to duplicate, replicate your teams, you're going to need these 4 things. These are the 4 things that would hold you back. Number 1, knowledge for the mind. You may not know what you need to know, but somebody else does, right? So number 1, I look at knowledge for the mind. Number 2, I look at skills for the body. Okay, I don't believe money buys you freedom. I think skills buys you freedom. Number 3, passion or drive for the heart. We're going to refer to that today as prey drive, P-R-E-Y-D-R-I-V-E, prey drive. For the heart, that's passion, energy, intensity, persistence. Then confidence for the spirit. And then I would look at the mom and dad and I would say, these are 4 areas we're going to go to work coaching your daughter. Knowledge for the mind, skill for the body, desire for the heart, confidence for the spirit. These are 4 parts of her nature. Okay, so for you, when you're thinking about these 4 parts of her nature, which area do you think she has potential? She says, well, every part. And I would say to the mom and dad, I got one tough question to ask you. And they would say, sure, Coach, you can ask me anything. And I would say, is your daughter watching you reach your potential? And they would go, oh, Coach, like, I didn't know you were going to be coaching me. And I'm like, absolutely. I'm going to be coaching you and her. But here's the point. Is it not hypocritical for us to tell our children they have potential if they're not watching us reach our own potential? See, you've chosen a vehicle in real estate. I look at the vehicle. Some of my top agents are doing 300 transactions plus per year. And when I started coaching them, they were doing 40 to 50 transactions per year. It's a pretty significant jump. Why would the top agents in eXp hire me to be their coach? Many of them walk up to me after seeing me speak and say, you reactivated my prey drive. So around 41 years old, I'd coached for a decade, won championships, retired from athletic coaching, started writing books. Many real estate people began to hire me to be their coach, mortgage originators, insurance agents. And they kept saying the same thing, Coach, you're activating something inside of me that was dead, that was dormant, that was latent, that was undeveloped. And I didn't really have a name for it, okay? I didn't have a name for what they were saying other than, man, I was activating versus motivating. And at 41 years old, I found the name I had been looking for. I was sitting in a workshop with a former Vietnam veteran of the Vietnam War, and he was in the military division called the War Dog Division. His job was to wake up every morning in the Vietnam War with an animal, with a dog, to go ahead of the infantry. And the dog's job was to sniff out bombs and booby traps and ambushes. I want you to think, any day you think it's tough selling real estate, any day you think it's tough, I want you to know this one thing. I want you to know that, man, that dude had it rough. And when I say rough, he had it real rough, right? So he kept talking about this dog having a prey drive. And I'm like, prey drive? Like, what is he talking about? The dog had a prey drive. And so I did what most people do. I Googled it. And I found exactly what I'd been looking for all those years, what I had been doing inside of people. Prey, prey drive. And here's what it is. A dog has a prey drive. It's the dog's ability to stalk, capture, kill prey. I'm sitting there and I nudged my wife and I'm like, that's what I've been doing my whole life. I had a big revelation. And the revelation is that humans have a prey drive, except it's not their ability to stalk, capture, and kill something. That sounds like a good salesperson, right? A good real estate agent. They see it, they pursue it, they bring a deal through to its conclusion. The word close means to bring two things together. It means to bring something to an end. I am closing a deal. I am following up on a conclusion. I am bringing something to its natural conclusion. I am closing deals. So I sat there and I elbowed my wife and I said, that's it. I'm going to become the leading authority in the world on activating a deep drive inside of people. And I gave it this definition. Prey drive is your instinct. It's an instinct to see something with the eyes or in the mind and have the persistence and intensity to pursue it. This is what great salespeople do, folks. They wake up every day and they go to work on activating this drive, their ability and instinct to see something and pursue it, to make an outbound call, to disarm someone, to locate a problem, to offer a compelling solution. So I began building out the framework on how to activate the prey drive in a person, right? And so let's give it a definition. It is your ability as an agent to see something with the eyes or in the mind and have the persistence and intensity to pursue it. It's what a great salesperson does every single day. So I'm going to give you 3 phases of prey drive. Number 1, the prey drive must be activated. Prey drive must be activated. Many times it's late and it's undeveloped. It's never been activated. You're operating at a nominal level. You're doing X number of deals per year. There's something inside of you that's this instinct to go get it. But for something, there's a consideration. There's a fear. There's an anxiety. There's a consideration. There's a worry, right? And what I do as a coach is I try to remove these things to get you to be able to make an outbound effort, to initiate phone calls, to disarm people, to locate problems, to offer compelling solutions, because money changes hands when problems are solved. Bigger the problem, the more money people will pay to solve that problem, folks. All you're doing as a real estate agent is you're solving problems every single day. The more money, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. The more contacts you have, the more contracts you have. You don't need more money, you need more people, because the people have the money. So prey drive is I got to get up and I got to activate something inside of me. There are 3 phases of it. This is where I'm going to need your participation. There are 3 phases of it. The prey drive has to be activated, which is why the book is called Flip the Switch. Boom. Flip the switch. How do you flip the switch every single day to go get it? Number 2, there must be a persistence to this prey drive. That means a long obedience, the ability to prospect for 2 hours a day, every day, the willingness to do things you don't want to do. The Navy SEALs call it embrace the suck. Dabo Sweeney at Clemson says you got to suck the sour to get to the sweet. Nobody wants to prospect every day, but the purpose of your business is to produce a new customer. And the way you produce a new customer, man, is you work the phones, you follow up with video texts and voice texts, and you make outbound efforts, you initiate. Man, it takes prey drive to do that. So number 1, prey drive's got to be activated. Okay, this could activate your prey drive. This one thing today. Some people watch me every morning. I do videos on Facebook every single morning. Now, here's the funny thing. Very seldom do I feel like doing those videos. Okay, I work my way into feeling. I don't feel my way into working. I act my way into feeling. So one morning I woke up early in the morning. I rolled over and I told my wife, man, I just don't feel like doing it. So I don't feel like motivating all these people. I don't know if I can do it. And my wife said to me, then watch one of your videos. And I'm like, all right, I see how it's going to be. But I did watch one of my videos, and guess what? I motivated my own self, folks. I activated my own prey drive by watching my own video. So every morning, I do a video every single morning, and that activates some people's prey drive. Guess what? It activates my prey drive because I act my way into feeling. I don't feel like prospecting today. I don't feel like recruiting people, but I sure do want the passive income. If you saw the earning power of some of the people I'm coaching at eXp and passive income, and their desire to improve on that income, which is already at a pretty ridiculous level, then you would wake up every day and think to yourself, I need to be recruiting people. I need to be duplicating. I need to be going out and building a team. I need to be going out and bringing people into eXp, because the money is greater than my feelings. The outcomes is greater than my feelings. The future is greater than my feelings. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings, folks. So number one, you got to wake up every morning and you got to activate that drive. Now I'm going to show you how I activate my drive. Okay, there's 4 things I do every morning to get ready. Okay, and I was trained by a Marine for a period of time who was my personal trainer, and he used to say to me every morning, it was 4 men that came in for workouts, and he would say, good morning, ladies. And then he would say, you got to get your mind ready for what your body's about to do. And that's what I think about prospecting. You got to get your mind ready for what your body's about to do. So every morning I wake up. When I'm at home, I'm right now, I'm at our house in Florida with my family, because I'm about to go back out on the road next week to LA and Jackson Hole, Wyoming. But typically I wake up at 4 a.m., 4:05, something like that. Very first thing I do is I listen to a song called It's a Great Day to Be Alive. Folks, it's hard to have a bad attitude when you're listening to that song. So I listen to this song, It's a Great Day to Be Alive. Then I get up and I start getting ready to go to the gym. On my way to the gym, 15 minutes, I listen to something spiritual. Okay, I'm a faith-based person, so I typically listen to a 15-minute sermon, and that's me. Okay, when I get to the gym, I go to a gym called Rock Box. Think nightclub meets fight club, folks. It's like being in a nightclub and I'm boxing for 30 minutes, and then I do functional fitness with a woman yelling at me the whole time, man. And that is activating my body's prey drive. So I've already activated my spiritual prey drive. I've already activated my physical prey drive. I go home and spend about an hour with my family. That activates my emotional prey drive. And then I'm getting ready in the morning. Takes 16 minutes for business. Okay, I listen to something on business. Okay, so this is how you activate your prey drive. Okay, this is how you activate your prey drive every single morning. And this is so critical to the day, because now I have fed all 4 parts of my nature. I am now have my mind ready for what my body's about to do. I drive to my office, typically in downtown Nashville. It takes about 30 or 40 minutes. I'm on the phone. I'm following up. I'm calling people. Now, when I get to my office, I meet with my team. Never underestimate, folks. Don't miss this. Never underestimate the need to reactivate your team's prey drive every single day. When I'm working with these big eXp teams, the first thing I'm trying to do is reactivate that drive in people to do what? Go get it. Build their business. Go recruit. Spend time and energy on things that will yield the biggest results. The level 10 opportunities, right? The Seth brothers are on here. I'm coaching them in Houston, Texas. When I started coaching them, they were doing 60, 70 million. Now they're on track to do 150 million, right? They got to get in there every day and activate the prey drive of all of their people and their downline. Never underestimate this. Well, you can't activate my prey drive if your prey drive is not activated. Remember, prey drive is instinct. Instinct to take an action, to pick up the phone. This morning, I'm out exercising this morning on the phone, sending video messages, closing deals, putting people together, banging on strategic partners, following up with current clients, asking for new introductions, right? Like this is what I do. So I meet with my team at 8:45 from 9 to 11. It's very important what I'm about to tell you. It's nothing but new money. Purpose of the business is to produce a new customer. And the way you produce new customers, folks, is you initiate. Call on current clients. The average person is going to buy 4 to 7 homes in their lifetime. How many of those would you like to represent? Every satisfied person that you have should be worth 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the consumer, right? You don't want to just sell them. You want to help them again and again and again and again. And it's not just the referrals, it's the referrals from the referrals. So when in doubt, call a current client. When in doubt, call a past client. When in doubt, call a strategic partner. When in doubt, call somebody you've helped. When in doubt, work the muscle, take an action. Prey drive is not dormant, it's not sitting. It wants to be activated. Once I have the prey drive activated, then it has to be persistent. And persistence to me looks like this in real estate. I'm going after the 5.7 referrals out of every transaction I do. I'm going after to represent every person on the 4 to 7 houses they buy. I'm going to contact X number of people per day to recruit to build out my passive income, because that is the reason you joined eXp, right? You want possibility. You want opportunity. Okay. We want people playing at a higher level. Like, this is what you want, right? This is why you join this company, right? This is why this is the fastest growing real estate company in the world, because of the opportunity. Okay. So when you're out there, I want you really thinking from 9 to 11. Okay. From 9 to 11, I do nothing. Listen to what I'm telling you, folks. Nothing but focus on new money. I don't want people in my office looking at each other, talking to each other, flirting with each other, smiling at each other. Man, do you know how hard this is to create for real estate teams? You got to sell people on the purpose of the business is to feed the family, man, to produce long-term wealth, to really go out and blow it up, man. That's the purpose of the business. So here's what we do, because I coached the top real estate agent in South Carolina 2 years. Prospect in the morning, we solve the world's problems in the afternoon. Okay, we prospect every morning and we solve the world's problems in the afternoon. We prospect in the morning, nothing but new money. Now, you can prospect in the evenings. I prospect throughout the day, but I want a minimum of 2 hours per day, every day, on nothing but new money. Now, if you're building out your downlines in eXp, what I'm about to show you is prospecting for recruits, because what I'm teaching a lot of big eXp teams is how to explain their value, how to alert them to refocus them on duplication, folks, because that's where the big money is in duplication. That's your B. So how do you work on that every single day? So you need dedicated time. You need to be disciplined, which is a derivative of the word disciple. You need to become a disciple to your own future. So from 9 to 11, this is what we do. And you say, Coach, well, who do you call on during this period? I'm going to give you my categories. And this is part of my selling system. Okay, so if you're here and you're watching this, I know some of you are asking, how do I coach your team? Emma at coachburt.com. Emma, EMMA at coachburt.com. She can get you with the right person on our team. And if you want the slideshow, and I'm going to give you 2 days boot camp for free, guys, if you just text flip the switch, all caps, to the number that Emma's posting. I'm going to give you me breaking this down in 2 days at my lodge in Tennessee. Okay. So you say, who are you calling on, Coach? This is who I'm calling on. Number one, every day I come into the day, I have what's called a hit list. And a hit list is anybody I can help with my services, anybody that can produce new money. So when you come into the day, I have a little remarkable here. And in that remarkable, every night I sit down and I map out my next day. And my next day says hit list. Who can I help with my services? Now there's 4 places I go for new money. Number one, I go to current clients. Remember this, you don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. So I go to current clients and I say, man, how can you introduce me to so-and-so? So I may go to Jimmy Franklin, say, hey, Jimmy, how can you introduce me to so-and-so? I may go to Kunal Seth. How do you introduce me to so-and-so? I may go to Al Stasic. How can you introduce me to so-and-so? I may go to Jay Kinder. How can you introduce me to so-and-so? I may go to them and say, hey, man, if I've helped you get to a better place, if I've been positive in your life, who else do I need to know? You don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money. Okay. Just remember this. Okay. So first I go to my current clients. I then go to my past clients. 98% of real estate agents never call a client back once they put them in a home. Now remember this, every deal you do should be worth 5.7 referrals. That's a National Association of Real Estate number. Every deal you should be worth 6 referrals, folks. Okay, the average person is going to buy 4 to 7 homes. Okay, the very first time I bought a house, it was $119,000. This is a little two bedroom condo. I loved every second of it, but the agent never followed up with me. Imagine him representing me on this house, which was $3.35 million in Florida. See, he could have got all the commissions if he would have just followed up with me, if he'd have just engaged with me. Like over the span of 20 years, how much commission money would he have gotten if he had just followed up with me after the sale? 67% of people in real estate use the very first contact, the very first person that contacts them. They don't use the best one. They don't use the most experienced one. They don't use the best looking one. They use the first one, okay? Which is why contacts equals contracts, man. For 2 hours a day, you should just be loving on people, calling people, following up with people. Current clients, past clients. Okay, here's my third one, strategic partners. And this is underutilized. Okay, past strategic partners. See, I partner with people because I operate from the theory, I don't need more money, I need more people. The people have the money. I need to get in front of more people. So I partner with people, strategic partners. We do events, speaking engagements, webinars, anything we can do. If I was a real estate agent, I'd be doing every one of these things. I'd be writing my own books. We can help you with that. I'd be becoming a person of interest. I would want to be the most known person in the city. I would be doing my own events. I would be doing strategic partnerships because that puts me in front of more people. So part of my hit list is, man, who can I contact today that can get me in front of more people? So I got a whole list of people right here on my hit list today. Current clients, past clients, strategic partners, and the fourth is direct leads. Now, this could be used as a recruiting system as well. Every day I got a hit list, man, of people I'm initiating a conversation with. Soft touches. Okay, we're not hard selling people. I like to jab with value, jab with value, jab with value, and boom, make an ask. Okay, so my whole purpose is to give you something. Here's a strategy I'm using. Here's a video I did. Here's a boot camp I would like for you to have. Here's a strategy I use with the top agents. Okay, here's how I can put this together. Okay, here's how I can put this together. Okay, person said, I'm new, I need to see this. You need to go through the boot camp that I'm going to send you called Flip the Switch, so you can see how I break down the selling system on how I get in front of more people. Okay, so that's the first thing I work on every day, folks, is my hit list. The second thing I work on is what's called my red zone. And the red zone is people who have indicated interest in my product or service, but we have not closed them. They're real close in that red zone. So I want you to think of people right now who are right there and they're close, but they haven't taken action yet. Okay. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. An object in motion will stay in motion. That's Newton's law. This is why you have to follow up and follow up. We live in a distracted world. Money changes hands when problems are solved. I'm following up to connect. I'm following up to ask you a question. What are you trying to do? Everybody hear that's one of the greatest sales questions you can ever ask. Well, I'm trying to get rid of my old house, trying to buy my new house, trying to put X number down. I'm trying to pull this off. Okay, great. If I could help you do that, would that be valuable to you? I'm trying to help you make a decision. The word decide, kill something off. The word decision means to cut away. I am here as a real estate professional to help you make a decision about your future. The purpose of my phone call is because you're interested in this property and I want to help you make a decision. The purpose of this meeting is to help you join our eXp team. The purpose of this meeting is to help you go from where you are to where you're capable of going. See, the purpose of this meeting is to bring something to a close. Most real estate agents, here's what stats tell me, are going less than 2 times in the follow-up. Okay, less than 2 times in the follow-up. And the national statistics tell me you should go 7 to 15 times when you're following up with people. So if you're not going 7 to 15 touches, this is why I wrote the book $1 Million Follow-Up, then you're not in the game. So every day I wake up, remember, I'm getting my prey drive activated. By 8 a.m., I'm meeting with my team, getting them excited to go into battle. I'm prospecting for 2 hours a day. Boom. And what am I doing during that period? I'm not just randomly doing things. I got a hit list. I got a red zone. I got a hit list. I got a red zone. Red zone are people who are close. Now, the third category I would give you, and then I'm going to finish with the 5 activators of prey drive. The third category I would give you is a category called the top 25. And I believe that referrals are when great people go tell other great people how great that you are. Help them get to a better place in their life. You move them from A to B. And because you move them from A to B, they want to help you if you engage with them. Okay. And so I build out what's called a Power 25. These are 25 deep, meaningful relationships. These relationships are there. These are people who believe in me. They believe in you, man. You've helped them get to a better place in their life. You move them from A to B. They want to help you, but they're not going to help you if they're not thinking about you. So a percentage of my day is just loving on my top 25. These are influencers. These are people who I'm touching and tagging and how can I help you and what can I do for you? And right, it's a context sport. So every day I'm working my hit list, I'm working my red zone. Okay, I'm working my top 25. I'm working my farm club, which are people who have indicated interest but are need nurturing. Okay, and these are things I'm doing between 9 and 11 a.m. every day. Notice I didn't say some days. Notice I didn't say when I feel like it. Purpose of the business is to produce a new customer. And for you, the purpose of your business is to produce new clients and recruit. Because the recruiting is where the big money is, man. Stay focused on moving from A to B. B is some desired outcome in the future. Stay focused every day on high value activity. Now, let's finish this presentation with the 5 activators of Prey Drive. Okay, and I do have scripts. We call that the explanation of service. Okay, so just email Emma@coachburt.com. If you want to do anything with me, email Emma@coachburt.com. We will give you the full breakdown of the PowerPoint. If they need Emma how to explain their services, we will give them the explanation of service breakdown that I did in a live setting. We want to help you folks. We want to help you be successful here. And that's what we do is coach some of the top eXp teams in the world, mainly on duplication, mainly on activating and reactivating Prey Drive, mainly on thinking differently about how to go out and recruit people and how to get ridiculous numbers, man, how to just get to ridiculous numbers. So let me finish with this. Okay, this is in a book coming out in 2022 called Flip the Switch through McGraw-Hill. And these are the 5 activators of Prey Drive. Number 1, fear is an activator of Prey Drive. Except I want you to think about fear differently. I want you to think about fear as your friend. When I'm afraid we're not going to hit our numbers, afraid something's not going to work the way it's supposed to, guess what I do? I take action. I don't take a little bit of action. I take a lot of action. When I'm afraid, I increase my action levels. When most people are afraid, they crouch down in fear. They contract, which means to crouch down in fear. I'm afraid they won't answer the phone. I'm afraid they will think I'm bothering them. I'm afraid it's too much. I'm afraid I'm too aggressive. Folks, when you feel afraid, you need to take an action. Fear be one of the greatest activator of your Prey Drive ever. I believe what takes years to build up takes seconds to tear down. So here's my motto. I go to bed tired and I wake up hungry. It all goes to 0 at midnight. There comes a time when winter asks what I did all spring and summer. It's going to be a fight, but I'm going to find a way to win. These are things I tell myself. Right? Next week, I'm speaking with Lou Holtz down in Florida. Lou Holtz used to say what takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down, man. And I believe that. And because of that, I go to bed as if it all goes to 0 at midnight. That's why I prospect every day. I don't get complacent. Fear is an activator of Prey Drive. Number 2 is competition. You need a game to play. You need a trophy to win. You need to compete with someone who will challenge you, who will push you. You need to have something to fight for, man. My granddad worked on the farm his whole life, and decided to retire. He was so vibrant. He was so active. He was so alive. And then he decided to retire. And my mother, who's a nurse, said it's almost as if the day after your granddad retired, everything in his life went downhill. His mind went downhill. His body went downhill. Everything went downhill. And I think it's because he ran out of purpose. He didn't have a game to play. You don't ever want to run out of purpose. You don't want to run out of love, and you don't want to run out of money, folks. 3 things you don't want to run out of. So plan now for later. Number 3, environment is an activator of Prey Drive. This is why your team is so critical. This is why leadership is so critical. This is why eXp University is so critical. You need to be in environments where people expect you to win, right? There's an expectation, there's an accountability, there's a structure, there's somebody pushing you, there's a coach that's activating that drive again. That's environment. That's an activator prey drive. Number 4, and I got one more and I'm done. Number 4 is exposure. Exposure. My wife had never been to a self-help program until she was 30 years old. She did drugs every day, 21 to 24. I didn't know her during that period of her life, but she had dreams and goals and hopes. And she came to one of my workshops that her company paid $50 for. And it's the first self-help book she'd ever read at 30 years old. She fell in love with her potential. She became, she started doing big things in the world. She started writing her own book. She's now doing her own conferences. She's now leading the health division of our company. What happened to her? She got exposed to a better way. When we know better, we do better, folks. We need to get in rooms to see bigger pictures, to think bigger plays, okay? That's why she's doing such big things in her life now. I mean, she got in the room. For $50, she got in the room. And I'll finish with this one, folks. Number 5 is embarrassment. One of the greatest activators in the world is when you are personally embarrassed by where you are versus where you are capable of being. Every day I wake up and I go, man, we're doing good. I'm grateful, but I'm blissfully dissatisfied. Man, I'm grateful, but I'm blissfully dissatisfied. And I'm embarrassed compared to where I'm capable of going. Those are the 5 activators, Prey Drive. Guys, I want to thank you for having me today. What a cool university that you have. I feel like I'm on stage speaking to 300 people today. Thank you so much for having me. Emma at coachburt.com can get you anything you need with me. Please reach out to her. We'll get you the slides. We'll get you the breakdown. I'd love to be your coach at some point in the future. Or right now, we got all kinds of things, man. eXp family, I love you. This is the most dynamic real estate company in the world. I believe it 100%, man. 100%. Y'all are the best. So let's just keep going. So God bless you. Thank you very much.
Coach Burt, thank you so much for flipping the switch for hundreds of eXp Realty agents, future partners, future agents. Absolute amazing messages today. I hope everybody has 3 pages of notes. And if anybody wants a copy of the notes, let us know where you are versus where you're capable of being. Thanks again, Coach Burt. We absolutely appreciate the message, the lessons, and how to activate our Prey Drive today. Fantastic, everybody. I see so many people asking for the slides and the material and all of the content that we're referencing here today. What will be happening? Stick around, and throughout the day, you're going to see our staff drop links to our learning portal. It's called Mind Flash. You click on the link there. If you're a current eXp Realty agent, you just log in with your eXp passport, and you'll be able to access all the slides, all the content, all the resources we have from each day at the end of each day and before the next day's session. So stick around there. That will get you what you need. And next up, again, Coach Burt, appreciate having you. Next up, we're doing something unique. Again, on the center screen, we have an amazing interview that's going to be conducted live for you. Sean Murphy, our Western Vice President of Growth with eXp Realty. I'll let Sean introduce the amazing special guest. So hang tight, everybody. A couple of technical housekeeping items. For those of you that are live in eXp World, you'll be watching the interview live streamed here in eXp World. For those of you that are listening in on the mobile app, I need to let you know the live interview audio is only able to be heard here in eXp World. So if you're listening in on the mobile app, you will not hear anything on that mobile app for the next little bit while this interview is going on. So it's approximately 30 minutes. But what you can do instead is you can actually watch the live interview on YouTube. So as soon as the stream is live, I'm going to go ahead and share the link out a couple of times in eXp World. So if you can pop into the world real quick, grab the link and jump back onto the YouTube, you can. I'll also ask our team to share it in the eXp University Workplace group so that you all can jump in there. If you know how to get to Workplace on your cell phone, open up Workplace, look in the university group, and grab the YouTube so you can watch the video and get the live stream. So there's a couple of technical nuances here to getting the live stream up. So just hang tight. I know you probably need 2 to 3 minutes to go through your notes and review what you just heard from Coach Burt. I really do literally have about 2.5 pages of notes. I hope you took a bunch. I'm glad to see that eXp Realty proud in the chat box. So many agents just honored to be a part of this opportunity, this experience, proud of this company. As Glenn Sanford kicked it off with, that gratitude. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank our amazing eXp Realty growth team and eXp University team and our eXp marketing team. This has been an awesome collaboration. Anytime you see big live production and events going on in the eXp world, whether it's a class, an event, or a 3-day amazing mega event like this, it takes staff and staff and staff behind the scenes to put this together. As Donald said, this is just day one. So shout out to Ashley Galladay, shout out to Jordan Hill, shout out to Don Soroka, shout out to so many, again, partners from the growth team, Cynthia LaChance, shout out to the eXp University team, Candace Garcia and Randy Highsmith, and so many others, Ciara Baker and Jen on the marketing staff. All right, it looks like the live stream is getting set up. So this is super cool, super unique. If you're live in eXp World, it is going to kick in.
To move is because you guys are one company with people in all states with local support. And to me, that is excellent for our type of organization. And in return, to answer your question, I want to help other organizations that have the investor niche, right? What we do. So if you're out there and you have influence, you have a community, right? And you are a leader of your community where you have a relationship with them and you're coaching them how to do investing, just know that a lot of your community members or investors are licensed and those licenses are hanging somewhere. So why not you start your own internal organization within eXp and actually add additional coaching to them and give them an opportunity to earn some income stream additionally on top of whatever they're doing. So I'm looking for those organizations that don't have to be our size, because we can literally white label it under their brand and not mix our brands together, because I already have everything created, right? We've been at this for a year. So I can literally duplicate everything we've done for them, as long as they have an influential leader and they have a community of investors.
So you have the system, you have the model, you already have the game plan. It obviously works. The Fortune Builders organization inside of eXp is insanely profitable. I'd like to move on. What do you see as the top value proposition that eXp offers to your large organizations? I see that you've already mentioned that our borderless eXp, where you can work nationwide. That has to be a value to you.
Oh, if that wasn't there, to be honest, we wouldn't make the move. And when we were looking for a company like yours, basically like eXp 5 years ago, you guys were not on our radar because you were not in all the major cities yet. You didn't have local support in all the major cities, right? And so now, as we researched you guys, as everyone should, before we made a decision, we realized that you have the infrastructure at a place that supports agents all across the country in all major cities. And that honestly was the number one reason why we moved, because we knew our local brokerage would benefit no matter what from you guys. Like, that was already proven with your model for years, right? With other brokerages moving. But the large organization model, we're kind of, like I said, pioneers and testing this out with you guys. So to me, that was the number one factor, because like, if we're going to recommend an eXp or an agency to our student who trusts us, right, that can backfire very quick. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so once we realized, okay, and we started testing it and doing a few webinars and connecting our students with the local staff, the local broker, the local admins, the local mentors, right? And realized that it's actually working, we then went all in and promoting this opportunity to our organization because it was proven. And to me, I think that's the biggest value proposition for any large organization because we care about our students. We have a relationship with them, and we cannot ruin that relationship, right? And that's the number one.
So now I know that large organizations, large teams, they tend to have their own value proposition. As a large organization, what do you and your team offer to this huge network coming in?
Yeah, good question. So yes, I agree. I do believe that every large organization should have a value proposition. So most likely, whatever you're teaching on, like for example, we already were teaching our community how to invest in homes, how to do rehabs, how to do flips, and all that. However, we have not really touched upon how to actually do it as a licensed investor. Even though we've been doing it locally in Southern California for, gosh, 10 years, right? We actually, outside of Southern California, we never nationally talked about that, right? Because we had no idea how many of our community members, investors are licensed. We had no clue. So we're like, so once we came on board, that's the first thing we focused on. I became the main trainer, and I started creating trainings every single month, and I categorized them in 3 different groups. So I have trainings now, a whole library of trainings for our group that teaches investors how to leverage their license to enhance and accelerate their investing business that they're currently doing. The other category now of trainings is teaching the investors how to leverage the investor activities they do, like picking up the phone, doing direct mail, anything they do in their business as investors, their investor network that they've developed. Like, how do we leverage that to generate traditional business? Because those two talk to each other if you know strategically how to apply it, right? And then the last category that we've developed trainings on is teaching agents or introducing the idea for agents that maybe they don't care about flipping, they don't care about rehabbing, but they would love to work potentially with rehabbers, or at least learn what does it look like if I were to work with investors instead of only traditional buyers and sellers, which that's where 99% of agents fall. So
Right.
I'm teaching them, and I want to kind of give them a glimpse into, hey, here's what that could look like if you're an agent considering working with investors. This is the path, and this is the benefits of that. So those are the 3 components of our library, I would say, that we've now developed and continue to add to. And then the last thing I would say is agent attraction. Many of our agents and investors now are interested in doing agent attraction. So the ones that are, we also help with that. We have scripts created, we have videos created for them, and we actually do the 3-way calls. My team and I, we do the 3-way calls on their behalf. They could be on that 3-way call, but they don't have to. And if they have someone interested in eXp, we'll answer all the questions, not them, because they're newer. They probably don't know all the benefits of eXp. So we take all of that burden upon ourselves to really maximize the opportunity for them and ourselves, and really create a win-win across the board.
And you're help building their organization. It's
That's right.
the byproduct of, welcome to Fortune Builders and eXp.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
Now, how do you communicate with thousands of people? How do you communicate, and what's your message to them? I know you have people coming into your organization every day. They're starting from ground zero all the way up to people that have 1,000 people in their organizations and are doing tens of millions of dollars in investment. So
yeah. So the biggest thing that my partner Than does is, like I said, he has a relationship with his community. Okay. So when Than sends an email, which, that was really our only avenue of communicating virtually because of COVID over the last year and a half, we did webinars. So every time he would send an email to his list, he would get hundreds of people registering for the webinar, and we would discuss this eXp opportunity and how it relates to them as an investor and what are the benefits of it. And every month we would rinse and repeat the same webinar, and that's how we started onboarding that many agents. Now we started doing live events because things are opening up. So we just did one in Orlando, for example. And
I was talking to you while you were there.
Yes, we had 450 of our students there. So guess what? I had a booth. I had an eXp booth. We did a presentation at lunchtime. about the eXp opportunity. And then if anyone was interested, they came to the booth and we literally set up appointments with them right there on the spot and answered their questions that I would normally do over the phone for the last year and a half.
Take them to your little side booth and have the sit down with them. So you have enormous potential because you have 75% of your base is in the process of getting licensed or isn't licensed yet. On the road to 100,000 agents at eXp. You guys are a huge part of that. We sign up 174 people every day at eXp, 15 people an hour.
Phenomenal.
And you guys are huge. In Orlando, I was looking at his numbers. He's bringing 150 people every single month. On the road to 100,000 agents, where do you see the opportunity for large organizations that haven't joined? How are we going to get the word out? How are we going to identify that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come from us. I mean, like I said, like when we joined, we were one of the first ones kind of figuring it out with you guys.
You were the footprint for large organizations.
Yeah, and it was fun, and I loved kind of doing that with you guys, and working with your staff, and everybody was lovely. Even though we knew, hey, there's going to be some bumps on the road, right? But we all knew, like, hey, this could be something awesome, not only for us, but also for eXp. It's really a win-win. So now, since we've joined, I have seen several nice large organizations joining, and I really think that's what it will take, doing these type of events like you guys are doing right now, getting the word out. Because I really, like, I was in Orlando. From Orlando, I went to Tampa Bay to a real estate mastermind with other real estate educators like Fortune Builders. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them don't even know of eXp and how we can even apply to their community the way we're doing it. So it's interesting. There was a number of that know, and there was a number of them that were already at eXp, but large number, they had no idea. So when I explained it to them, they were like, wait a minute, I do teach investing. How does the agent stuff apply? And then I would explain to them, like, well, what do you think happens when most investors become successful? They get licensed, or they bring an agent on their team. So, and then that conversation just takes off. And then I tell them what we've done. So it really kind of, it's on us, right? As the leaders of large organizations, to get the word out, getting help from you guys, from eXp, from all the leaders like we're doing today. It's happening. Like, there is no stopping this, as we know already. And the word is
going to a million, as Brent Gove would say. We're going to a million.
Oh, we definitely are. And large organizations are going to play a huge role in that. We already are. We could see it.
Yeah. In our jumping from step to step, there's three major ways you can build. You can bring them in one at a time, and that you essentially do when they come into Fortune Builders, and then you kind of talk to them in groups, or you can build them up, or you can mergers and acquisitions. And I know that you're trailblazing right now. I know that you and I are still changing the model. We're still working on stuff that hasn't been tried yet. As recent as yesterday.
Yeah.
You are a trailblazer. You want to make it work for everybody. You want to build to the dream. And proud of what you're doing. What type of organization should people be looking for? I mean, you just don't stumble on Fortune Builders every day. You don't stumble on Tarek Al-Musa every day. You don't stumble on Investor every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to speak from what I know, which is the investor community is a large community, right? And when I talk about investors, I'm talking about, people that buy houses, fix them, sell them. Believe it or not, that industry is massive, right? There is a reason why companies, Open Door and all these companies enter that space, okay? Because it's a huge opportunity. And we've been doing that for years, including other organizations. So that's what I personally would focus on, and that's what I would recommend, because at least I know that there's an absolute percentage of those investors licensed. I already know it for a fact, right? Now, there is other categories, right? There's the financial category as well that you could potentially focus on, where there could be agents. But if you really want to maximize the opportunity of what eXp offers and actually enhance what you're already doing for your students, right? because when, large organizations, that's usually what that means. Like you have some paid clients that paid you and joined your community because you have something to offer them in some type of education aspect. So if you have that and you're doing investing education, then I guarantee you, teaching them about how to leverage their license to enhance that, it's a added component to what they're already doing. You just haven't asked them how they're doing it. So
True.
that's my recommendation. You can look into many other things, but I would tell you, I think that from just my experience, at least I can say for doing it for a year, it works. Educators in the real estate space, in the investing space, have a large percentage of us being licensed.
So what are your goals as the trainer and educator for Fortune Builders? What are your goals in the upcoming year as far as agent attraction and production?
Yeah, so, well, I have big goals. I almost want to create satellite partners now that our organization is growing, as fast as it is. My goals I see is creating partners in all major cities so I can further even maximize other new agents joining us by connecting them with a partner that's local, that's an experienced realtor, because then we can help them get more business locally, right? So I kind of have a vision of creating these satellite, virtual, let's say, offices within our community, and identifying agents in our community that are experienced, and then connecting the newbies with them, if that makes sense.
Wow, no, that's
So, because then it's basically allowing them, in our case, like we would allow that partner be the sponsor of those newbies, of the new licensed agents. So now they're incentivized because now we're helping them on agent attraction. But more importantly, that local investor agent from our community can also now feel like they have someone from our own network that they can lean on for the traditional help or even investing help that I can't provide in their city legally, because I don't know the laws in every state as a realtor. I only know Southern California. So does that make sense?
yeah. The Fortune Builders operates in all states. Are they in every state?
And all states, including Canada, believe it or not.
Love it that they're in Canada. I mean, Canada is in huge growth mode right now. They're bringing on a couple hundred new agents every month, and I know that their whole 75% of Canadian agents are in the Ontario region. So moving to British Columbia and Alberta and all the way across to Nova Scotia, there's giant holes where the opportunity is just massive, especially for a large organization like yourselves. So you have big goals. What's your organization agent count goal coming up here for the next year?
Wow. Okay. Well, at this point, at the rate, and I think the opportunities that I have coming up, we should definitely at this point probably get to 2,000. That would be my goal by the end of 2020, and I'm talking about 2022.
Right.
Because we're basically fourth quarter. Like, I think we can go much faster. I think we can accelerate our own internal growth and hit 2,000 by the end of next year.
Well, tell me, we have 1,000 people who are registered for this event. What do they need to know about identifying and attracting large organizations that Randy Zimnock can impart?
Yeah, I think the one thing to keep in mind is that if you're approaching an influencer, like my partner Than Mero as an example from Fortune Builders, they're marketers. They don't necessarily, and they're busy, right? They're busy running 7-figure usually organizations. They're probably not going to have the time to also take the calls from the prospects, the agents themselves that are interested in what you're offering with eXp. So I would highly, highly encourage you, if you're approaching influencers, approach it from a standpoint of like, hey, we will actually do all the calls on your behalf, and anyone that decides to join, we'll put underneath you guys, right, in the eXp ecosystem. All I need you to do, influencer, is market this opportunity. That's it. Stay in your lane, be the brand of your company, spread the message of this opportunity, and then let me do all the heavy lifting on the back end, taking all the calls, provide all the trainings, all of those things. That's how whoever brought us in, who you know, Chris Gershio, that's how he approached us. He's like, hey, not only do I want to show you this opportunity, but I want to make sure you understand that I will do majority of the work. And that's the language you have to speak when you're approaching influencers that have large organizations already that are not taking advantage of eXp yet, is know that they're busy. So if you don't lead with that, hey, we'll do 99% of the work, then most likely they're not even going to pick up the phone. They're not going to listen to you because they're busy. They have other things that they're working on. So that would be my number one advice. And that's why, you know, what I said earlier, I want to help other large organizations. So if anybody is out there thinking about joining, like, feel free, like, reach out. Like, we can literally help you onboard and create everything we're doing under your brand. And in the same way we did it for our partner, Thanmero, who's the influencer, where we really just kind of fulfill, like, we do all the fulfillment with you, right? As long as you bring in the influencer, whoever that is, or if you're the influencer, let's talk and we'll fulfill, right? As long as you just present the opportunity, and we even know how to present it. So if you don't want to present it, we can present it.
You do the presentation, you do the work, they collect the money.
That's it.
You're looking for somebody who has an organization of 1,000 or more real estate licenses that isn't necessarily using it. Lenders, home inspectors, investors. I mean, the investors, that's a huge segment that really hasn't even been tapped. Your average investor. So if you're looking to bring an organization into eXp and you don't know how to present it, Randy's here. That's what he does. And he's also willing to white label his system, his method and his structure to bring your organization in and build something, you know, much bigger than you could possibly imagine. Did you think it would get this big when you first stepped in?
Oh, I mean, I didn't, honestly, I didn't. I always, Than and I, we honestly been looking for a company like this for years. And I tell my wife all the time, like, I felt like I pressed that easy button, you know, like the Office Depot or whatever, that like, literally when we joined, that's how I felt, because I removed all of my overhead, my staff that I was in charge of for our brokerage, that I was trapped locally with. I couldn't go beyond California with. And all of a sudden, by moving, everything opened up. Every state opened up to us, and we didn't have to build it out. We didn't have to hire the staff. We didn't have to do the tracking. None of it. I was floored, to be honest. Like, I'm still like in awe. Like, and you know, when I talk to people, they like, it sounds too good to be true. And I'm like, yes, I know, I'm living it. I still think it's too good to be true. Like, and I'm in it.
It's kind of just like Glenn when he, I saw him at the NAREP convention this weekend or last week, and he said a lot of lucky things happened for us and for him to get there. A lot of things had to fall in place, and I think that Fortune Builders it's a natural fit. Such a natural fit that, you know, I look at you, I don't see you as Fortune Builders. I look at you as an eXp trainer. You spend most of your time talking about the eXp value proposition and structure to investors, and you've probably increased the net wealth of your organizational members as well. Just like Orlando said, help 1 million people make $1 million. And
that's it. And
so in parting, what would you like to tell everybody? Tell everybody about attracting large organizations. Aside from you can bring them straight to you and hit the easy button.
Yeah, I think now that we paved the way, I would say, just reach out to others that have done it before you now. You know, if it's us, if it's the other large organizations that are going to be speaking on this platform at this event, like, don't try to figure out on your own, right? So my encouragement is to reach out to one of us that is speaking, you know, over the next 2 days, and let us kind of paint the vision for you, so you have an understanding how these pieces come together. I think that would be my number one advice, because we had to figure it all out on our own when we started. but you don't need to. Like we've done it, we've paved the way. Others now have too, and we can make this even that much easier for you.
Well,
If you,
I appreciate your time. I know that you are very busy. I know that I'm working on other projects with you as we speak. I'm getting texts about that right now. I appreciate Fortune Builders and Randy, yourself. And since I live in the same county as you, we have to get together a lot more now that we're in real life.
yes.
If anybody has any questions for Randy, type them into the chat box. This is being streamed live on YouTube as well. So you can type them into the chat box here and we should be able to see them. Says one of them, is this the same as what is live in eXp World Level Up? Yes, it is. It's just a little advanced of that. They restream it to the world. So I look forward to seeing everybody. I will be talking to the agent who attracted Randy to eXp tomorrow, Chris Gercio. And I'd like to thank the Fortune Builders organization and Randy Zimnock in particular. And I look forward to seeing you all again.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean, for having me. Thanks to everybody that's watching. We appreciate you, and feel free to reach out. My name, like you have, Randy Zimnock. You can find me online, Facebook, Instagram. It's a unique name, so it's pretty easy to find.
Awesome,
in San Diego.
Awesome, Sean
In San Diego.
and Randy.
That's
that was
it.
fantastic.
Take
Randy
care,
Zimnock,
guys.
thank you for
Take
being
care.
here, co-founder and president of Realty National. Sean, what a great interview. So many gems, so much good stuff, everybody. And thank you on the back end to Randy Highsmith for making that interview technically possible, getting it rocking. So next up, everybody, as you can tell, we are pushing the envelope with doing innovative approaches to creating this event here in World. For those of you, if you're watching on the YouTube live stream, next up, we plan to run a video right here in eXp World. We have the founder of Real Estate B School, podcast host and author, Lars Hedenborg. Lars recently joined a buddy of mine, Kyle Handy. I'm a big fan of what Lars has to share today. Let's get that video up and enjoy. Use the chat box if you have any technical difficulties, and we will help you sort it out. All right, everybody. I see some chatter in the chat box that we don't have video for most of you all / everybody. So hang tight. Give us just a couple of minutes. We are just a couple of minutes ahead of schedule anyways. So let me take a quick peek at the agenda. We've got some video, some audio. Hang tight, everybody. We're going to do a quick audible here, and we will have this video live streaming up for you all shortly. Why don't we do this? I'm looking at the calendar, or at the clock, I'm sorry. I have 10:44 PST. Don't leave the auditorium. Stay here, but you've got a quick 4-minute break. If you need to grab a quick drink of water, quick refresher, I'm going to talk to my technical team on the back end. Randy Highsmith, if you can hear me, hang tight. and we will come back at the 50-minute mark with Lars's video. So you won't miss anything as long as you're back in your seat in 4.5 minutes. So hang tight, everybody. We'll get the video live stream working, and we will be back with you in just 5 minutes at the 10:50 EST mark, 1:50 Eastern, 12:50 CST. Cue the dance music. Right on, everybody. All right, hang tight just a moment. We will get this thing working. And you see the amazing Jordan Hill typing be back in 5 minutes. It's actually be back in about 3.5 minutes, everybody. We've got just about 60 seconds underway as we do a quick technical audible. You won't even notice the difference. What an amazing event this has been so far. If you're sitting here with me, give me your biggest takeaway so far in the chat box. If you're not on break, if you're still at your computer, share your message, what value you've gotten from today's session, what the biggest opportunity you've heard about that you're excited about, what speaker rocked your world. I hope you have a few pages of notes. You know, I'm going to teach you a little strategy for note taking that I learned during a recent opportunity that I had. I had an amazing privilege to join the second ever class of success coaching certification. And if you're not familiar with Success, it's one of eXp Realty partner companies, and it's the longest standing personal development company and brand in the world. And Success has recently launched a unique coaching certification, and I had a chance to go through this coaching certification. I encourage any leader to go through that certification. It will provide 10x value in the short 2 weeks time it takes to go through that class. But I was going through that session, and one of the simplest techniques I learned, it was shared by, I believe Don Hobbs shared it with us, and Don was passing on wisdom from others before him, right? And it was simply when you're taking notes at a big event like this, and you have a bunch of notes on your paper and your cell phone, you use the acronym ACT to actually help yourself organize those notes. So ACT. So A stands for action. So if you go back through today, and you need to activate your prey drive and get into competition with yourself or someone to win a game, that's something you're going to do today, you're going to act on. You go circle, you write a little A next to that note and you circle it so that when you look back, you can say, okay, I've got to take action. And you remind yourself, and you can go get your list of actions, and now you have 3 or 4 action steps you can go take this week, this month, this day, and get into action quickly. So you use A for action. C stands for change. So if you're looking through these notes and you see something that's just a reminder, right? Glenn reminded you to be the leader that you want to see in the world. Glenn reminded you, or Orlando reminded you that if you help 1 million people, you can make $1 million, right? If there's something you just want to change your approach to, you write a little C next to it. And I'll go a step further. When I have a C on my paper, I usually actually write that message out to myself as an affirmation, as an I will statement, or as a visual reminder. I put it up on my whiteboard or in my office so that I can see that change that I want to remind myself of every single day. So that's the C. And then the T stands for teach or train. So if you heard something today that you want to teach or train, or I'll even go another T in there, talk to someone about. It's something you need to teach, train, or talk about. Go ahead and put a T next to it. And then you can get with your friend or partner or colleague that you invited to this event. You all can talk about it. Or you can go back to your real estate team or your business team and you can teach them something you learned today or train them on something. So ACT, really helpful but powerful tool for keeping your notes organized. So then when I ask over the next couple of days, if you were here right now in this moment, when I ask the next couple of days, I'm going to say, give me your A's in the chat box. What are you going to take action on? I might say, give me your C's in the chat box. What do you need to change? And I might say, give me your T's in the chat box. What are you going to teach, train, or talk about after leaving this event or this session? So little helpful hints are all around you. Just got to keep your eyes open and be ready for them. Speaking of eyes open and being ready, give me a quick yes if you are back in your seats and ready for this Lars Hedenborg video. Let me make sure everyone's back with us. And we will get this video up on the screen. We're kicking in now. Founder of Real Estate B School, podcast host, and author, Lars Hedenborg.
All right, everyone. I'm super excited to be presenting at Level Up and giving you what I've learned in just over a year here with eXp. And my name is Lars Hedenborg. I'm the founder of Real Estate B School. I'm going to share my screen to keep me on track. And the goal of our time here today is to give you as much as I possibly can. And so let's get after it here. So let me share my desktop, hit share, hit present, and we should be good to go. So the topic today is taking your agent attraction efforts to the next level. I'm going to challenge you, push you. I may upset you and rub you the wrong way, and it's all intended to get you into action and get you out of our head. I think a lot of times we're just way too much in our head around some of this stuff. I founded Real Estate B School in 2013. I got into real estate in 2007. Here's the reality of our industry. And I'm telling you some of this so you'll have the confidence to approach folks, because I've been at this for a long time. I've had over 1,000 conversations with the top of the top in our industry through Real Estate B School, and basically strategy sessions, our sales calls. I've done all of those over the years. And hundreds of people have been through Real Estate B School, and I have my own journey in terms of, achieving at a very high level in this industry. And here's the reality. The industry has completely failed to create any path to financial freedom. It's just the reality, right? Traditional methods keep agents, team leaders, and brokers on this never-ending transaction treadmill. It takes on a life of its own and creates a life not worth living, in my opinion. And here's the thing, productivity coaching and traditional training methods, they're just not getting done, right? You see very few top agents or team leaders or brokers that are really crushing it, and they have freedom, and they're having massive impact in their families, and they have time, and they're not stressed and all that good stuff. And here's another thing, right? Most agents, team leaders, and brokers will not be able to retire gracefully. When's the last time you went to a real estate agent retirement party? It just doesn't exist. A little bit about me. I'm a dad. That's probably my number one job. This is the last picture when my kids actually wanted to be around us. They're 11 and 13 now, but this picture just warms my heart. I'm a husband. I'm a business builder. I've got a podcast called Real Estate Team Builders, if you can see it. I'm an author, wrote a book called Scale or Die, and I have placed my faith in Jesus as of 2009. And so the insanity in the world, I'm not placing my faith in any of it. I think it's all complete chaos right now. Here's the thing, though. In my real estate career, I've served over 5,000 families through a leveraged model. I went from a solo agent at 44 sides in 2008 to over 400 sides, all through those great recession years. Financially free. I work when I want to, essentially 11 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and I take as much time off as I want. And I don't say that out of ego. just so that you'll trust what I'm telling you, because I've actually achieved the thing. Most of us want to make more money. We want more freedom and have more impact. And here's the thing. I've made every mistake you could possibly make in business, and I'm willing to share them with you. Here is the question I have for you, and the question you need to figure out a way to understand the real, authentic, true answer for people you're having conversations with about inviting them into this gift we have, this platform called eXp Realty. It's, hey, Johnny, do you have a clear roadmap in place to scale your business, achieve your financial goals so that you can live a life at a high level in multiple areas of your life, right? A life of meaning, impact, and satisfaction. So think about that for yourself. But this is really what you need to get at when you're having conversations with people. My journey in real estate was a typical one. This is 2007. In 10 months, I sold 27 homes instantly, 7 days a week. I've ruined, this is our first family vacation with me in real estate, ruined the vacation. The deal didn't even close, right? Raise your hand. I can't see you, but raise your hand if you've done that before. My motivation came really, truly when Kendall, our daughter, was born in April 2010. Anders was born in November 2007. We had a couple miscarriages in between. So really just kind of rocking there. My wife and I didn't have great childhoods. So we were motivated to create a life and a lifestyle and really be with our children. And this is my motivation. This is my why, right? I'll go through a little bit of why I'm even telling you that. I think everyone has to have a why for whatever season they are in their journey. So this was my why, right? I want to create a life for my family that they never thought was possible. And it's changed over the years. But back then, and you may be at the point where maybe the money isn't where you want it to be, maybe the time freedom and stress, and you're not having the impact in your family. So you got to really buckle down on that. So create an awesome life for our family. This is the kids a little bit older. This is a couple years ago. We go to Mexico over New Year's. And so just a great life. And the journey wasn't hard. The journey wasn't hard. The journey was super hard. And at the end of it, I was really led to start a coaching company to be able to fill a void in the industry in terms of being able to help folks scale their businesses or grow and scale your business without losing your mind. And it's a systems approach to business. And so that was Real Estate B School, and it was born. Here is what I see in the industry and the challenges specifically of every position you can take in the industry and how you need to think about those you approach when it comes to agent attraction. Number one is the traditional agent. So let's take a traditionally successful selling 20 to 25 homes a year. Mind you that only 43,000 agents in the US out of 2.4 sell 25 homes. So it's less than 2%. But let's just take the successful agent. You stop making money when you stop selling. There's no exit strategy. There's no freedom whatsoever. And the hours and stress, in my opinion, aren't worth it. You're going to give up something in other areas of your life. Let's say you go the team building route, like I went. You ultimately spend time helping agents grow, and they will leave, even if it's on great terms. And you train the competition, even if you don't think of them that way. But there's no way to be in partnership with those folks. As I'm telling you this, these are the things that you need to be thinking when you're talking to a team leader, when you're talking to a top agent, right? Okay. Or in the team model, you give away margin and you make all these weird commission split deals, and you're not following an economic model, and it gets sideways really, really fast. With the brokerage model, right? There are lots of broker owners out there, independent broker owners, and folks that are involved in some of the franchise models where this constant churn, agent churn, for the grass is always greener, right? The grass is always greener. It's got to be my brokerage, right? And it's not. Low or no profit in the brokerage model, made up for with title and mortgage. I'm just going to make up for it with title and mortgage. So I'm going to run this loss leader, which I don't subscribe to that. I've talked to a lot of broker owners that are struggling financially, even with those additional income pillars. And there's no way in that model to add real value and truly impact agents' lives. And so no matter who you're talking to, a broker owner, a team leader, a top agent, The biggest challenges that I see is that for any of the players, there's no real exit strategy, right? So the challenge is, let's say you want to have 20 grand a month coming in and you don't need to do anything, right? So pure, straight up leverage income, residual income, that's 240 a year at 5%, which is near impossible to get 5%, now on a critical mass. But let's just say you could, it's 4.8 million saved. So you need to ask yourself, okay, 20,000 sounds like the number for me. I don't have 0.8 saved, let alone 4.8 million saved, right? And so that's the ultimate challenge. And here are the lessons that I've learned in my journey. 5,000 families served. I've helped hundreds of the top build sustainable businesses. And I think these will really, really serve you. I mentioned it earlier. You have to be clear on your why. You're going to be put in situations in this opportunity. I think I have this later. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. You're going to be put in situations where you're going to do something that challenges you. And if you don't have the backdrop of like, all right, I don't want to go out. I used to take listing appointments when I was in production, 9, 11, and 1 on a Saturday. And I had young kids. And this probably went into like 2010 is when I made the shift over just to listings and I dropped buyers. And 9, 11, and 1. And I didn't want to do it. Like, it's the last thing I really wanted to do on a Saturday, but I knew that this was the last piece for me to perfect the system and then hire someone to take over that system at the appropriate value-based commission splits. So the economic model was intact. But I knew why I was doing it. So you could do anything. Like if you had to dig ditches for 5 years and you knew at the end of that journey, you would have multiple 5 figures a month of residual income. Would you dig ditches for 50 hours a week for the next 5 years? You for sure would, right? Because you'd have the why and you'd have a clear vision on where you're going. And that takes me to my next point, is that you've got to begin with the end in mind. I think it's Proverbs like 27, 13 or 18, or where there is no vision, the people perish. And I just believe in business, like you as the business builder, if you don't have a clear idea of where you're going, you're not going to have confidence that you're making the right steps or taking the right steps to get there. So for example, in 2007, my 3-year vision, I always have a 3-year vision, was, I think it was, I was just going to work on listings. I was going to work 40 hours a week in my business, coming from a guy who hadn't started a team yet. And I was working probably 70 hours a week, and it was like 99% buyers, right? So I knew where I was going, and I still have a clear idea of 3 years from now where I'm going to be. So I'm always beginning with the end in mind. Like my shirt says, be comfortable. What's it say? Yeah. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. If you think back to the things you've achieved in your life, and how you've succeeded at the highest levels, you've had to push through some discomfort to do it. Think about when you first got into real estate. I had no sales background when I got into real estate, and I never generated a lead before or built a business or any of that stuff. I had a corporate job before I got into real estate. And it was really uncomfortable to call a lead that registered on my site and to follow a script and to invite them to a buyer consultation, right? I wouldn't go out and show homes until I actually got this person to agree to do business with me and get them to sign an agreement. And like, that was really uncomfortable because I'd never done it before, but I got used to it. And I'm like, that's a system I can replicate and duplicate and get somebody to run that system. So we've got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and lead with a servant's heart. This has been a tougher lesson for me to learn over the years. In my early days in the business, I was so overwhelmed and so stressed that I invited people into my world to serve me. And that is not, I hurt a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there are some key people along the way that I hurt. And now this opportunity, I am just, so grateful to be plugged into a platform where I get to impact at a big, big level. So, to really embrace that servant's heart, like how can you serve the people that you're having conversations with? And then stop caring what others think of you. Stop caring what others think of you. Right? I think we're so paralyzed at times. Like, hey, I only sell 20 homes a year. How could I possibly approach that guy or girl that does 200 homes? They run a successful team. They're probably rolling in money. They're on Facebook, like they got a nice car and they take vacations. And like, I promise you, they're just as jacked up, if not more, than you are at a 10 times larger business. Chances are it's not on the right economic model. They're doing a ton of homes themselves because they built it the wrong way. They're not using value-based commission splits. So they're in production and they're managing people and they've got overhead and their stress is through the roof, right? So there's no freedom in what they built. And you have to understand that so you have the confidence to move past anything that's uncomfortable. I can go on for probably an hour about this, your world versus the world. All I'll say on this is that if you want to achieve at a high level in business and at home, you need to be really careful how you define your world versus everything that's going on in the world. So just think of social media and news and politics and even sports and Netflix and where you spend your time, right? If you want to be a good dad, so for me, a good dad, good husband, good at business, massive impact. I want to take care of my physical body. I want to have a relationship with God. So there's like 5 things. All of that takes a lot of time. So my world outside of that has to be really tight, right? So really, really, really mind that. I want to tell you real quickly my eXp recruitment story. So when I came into eXp, 4,000 plus, close to 5,000 at that point a year ago, family served. I had been doing real estate B school. So I was retiring from real estate, going on an RV trip for 12 months with his bride, moving to Puerto Rico and just living a different life. In August 2020, he had this post. He hit 2,000 agents in his organization. Keep in mind, this is about so this is 2020. So a little over a year later, he's more than double in his organization. And he tells his story. Then on the right, he said, my rev share team, and I'm running a team at this point, closed 1,008 transactions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we did 30 transactions and we had 6 figures of overhead and we actually made good money, but it was painful. And there was a lot of drama around it. I'm like, that's a head scratcher. And then of course, all the eXp folks, when you're not an eXp, you see rev share day. That one actually in the middle didn't bother me because both my kids were born on the 22nd. So it's just a good reminder. So this kind of planted a seed. This is late August 2020. Then John called me on September 5th, 2020. That's John Mikas. You can tell in the middle there, he's a little better kept than on the right there. Calls me. He says, I have something to tell you. Are you sitting down? Instantly, I think the worst. I think divorce or terminal illness. I'm not lying. My heart starts to beat weird. I'm moving my team to eXp. He runs a multi-million-dollar team in my market, lives in Bozeman, Montana. And he says, I'm moving my team to eXp. And he asked me, have you actually studied the model? Have you actually studied the model? And I hadn't. And so it's been said that the most expensive thing you can own is a closed mind. Here's the thing you need to know, using me as an example. The bigger players out there have said no, even mentally, or their ego, their gate is closed. Like they're likely in the same position I was a year ago. Their ego is in the way. They've said no to the model, but they're likely in a position where they actually haven't studied it. So fast forward, this is in Cabo. AJ's organization is accelerating, and now we just have this amazing business relationship because I finally slowed down to look at the model. Right? We have one of the best examples of Sheila Fejeron, who was an individual agent. Met Brent Gove for like less than a minute at, I think it was a Star Power event or some event. She called Brent Gove and invited him to look at eXp. I'm sure that took a lot of guts for her to make that call. So you can't be where you are and be afraid to take action and call some of these bigger organizations. Just have the confidence, take my confidence that they're living in a world, either in their personal life or in their business, that's not running smoothly. They need this opportunity. So here are some more lessons I've learned that I really believe will help you with revenue share. Your ego will get in the way of doing what's right. And this is for others out there. And knowing this, it allows you to figure out ways, depending on your relationship with the person or what you know about them, to throw in a pattern interrupt. Like I will just go right into something. Like once I get to know somebody, I will ask them like, how close are you to having the financial freedom you desire? Like we're all putting in hours and making money. Are you building something that's going to give you freedom, or are you on this never ending treadmill, right? You've got to break them down a little bit to ultimately build them up. And here's the thing, very few big fish have been approached properly. AJ went into eXp in January 2017, and I knew AJ, but he never really invited me to study the model. I think I probably said something that was a turnoff at the time. One other person in June, I think around June 2017, reached out to me and said, you have got to study this. It's going to take off. And I want you to be a part of it. And I completely shut it down, really shut it down hard. Ego, right? I just seen all this. I likened it to MLM, and I had a bad experience with somebody from MLM, and whatever stuff was going on in my head, nobody approached me from June 2017 until John called me on September 5th, 2020. That's over 3 years, right? So even if some of these bigger players are they're seeing it on social media, they have notions about, weaker people joining eXp, all of that is unfounded at this point, right? Go to eXp Life and look at all the people that eXp is bringing in. And that's probably a small fraction of the big players come in, but there's story after story, right? Chris Craddock, they just did a story on him. He's in my front line. The dude will do 650 transactions this year. He's a major player in the industry, number 15 for KW in the world, direct line to Gary Keller. He came in because I just slowed him down. I said, have you actually studied it? Like really broke it down and decided if the platform you're on now with KW is better than the platform that eXp is. And once we got into it, it took probably 6-7 weeks to really break it down and have him understand it. He definitely got there. They think they know, but they don't know. I think I covered it a little bit, but people that have said no to eXp this far, they think they know, but they don't know. You have to ask them, hey, you owe it to yourself to spend a few hours on this, because I have to get you to the point where you at least really, truly understand what you're saying no to. And that's the commitment you're going to make to, especially a larger player. You've got to make the commitment to do that work with them. Even though I had relationships with some of the teams I brought in, some of the independent brokerages I brought in, it still required hours and hours of me doing calls, John Mikish, AJ, Cliff Freeman, Brent Gove, Dave Canord. I would do whatever, I would take them through as many calls as they would need to really, truly understand it. And everyone in the industry is struggling and they need eXp. You've got to understand this. Nobody has it figured out and they don't have an exit strategy. That's the bottom line. They need you to be bolder. They need you to step up and be bolder in your conversations. This is a great quote, Profit First, Mike Michalowicz. Putting your nose to the grindstone is a really easy way to cover up an unhealthy business. We think if we can just work harder, longer, better, if we could just hold out, something good will happen one day. It doesn't, So what could agent attraction mean for you? This is what you're telling someone, right? And you could be going through this exercise for the first time. You've got to pick a number. Like, what's your I'm done number? For me, it was 30,000. If I could have residual income of 30,000, I could check out, right? That was my number. So 360 a year, 7.2 million saved at 5%. Here's the math. 7.2 million was my number. I had saved about 2.4 million liquid. I was saving about 240 a year, 20,000 a month. I was still 20 years away from achieving freedom. So it took me 27 years, working years, to generate 2.4 million liquid net worth, which is the equivalent of 10,000 monthly residual. It took me 12 months to generate 10 million in net worth equivalent. And my last 5 months has averaged about 44,000 in residual income. So the leverage is the 27 or the 31 FLA or FLQA turned into 635. That's the magic of this model. And it's just super cool. So one question you want to ask folks is, based on where you are today, how confident are you in terms of where you're going? So you've got to know, as I close here, the industry has failed to create a path for financial freedom. Most players in our industry will not retire gracefully. What are you going to do about it? That's the question. You need to be bolder because people are struggling, right? That's the impact and the gift that you have because you're at eXp. Here's a bit of homework. I want you to write down 10 quote unquote big fish, top agents, team leaders, or broker owners that you're afraid to reach out to. Write them down, get their contact information, send them a voice message over Facebook Messenger or video message, or text them. You need to reach out to them in the next 48 hours. And you have to be consistent in terms of adding value and truly caring about these folks. AJ said this quote, "It's not whether or not this works, it's whether or not you will do the work." If you go to freerevsharetools.com, I gave you literally the script I used with all my big fish when I got started, a top 100 template to put your contacts in there. A copy of this presentation, because I think you should grab the slides on the numbers and the monthly residual income. And I think that's just super valuable. A script book as well. And a couple other things. So go to freerevsharetools.com. It's just a Google Drive. You can just grab everything. Don't request access, just create a copy of the document or download it. And let's agree to do the work. Bottom line, we've got to settle into this opportunity as task over time, being organized, time blocking, and actually doing the work. Much love to all of you. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. Be good. All right, everyone.
Welcome back, everybody. That should have concluded the Lars Hedenborg video stream presentation. Give me a yes greeting or emoji in the chat box if you're back with me. We will get the center screen reset here just shortly. How amazing was that? What an impact. So powerful. I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Lars. That was knowledge on knowledge on knowledge. What a beautiful story. So well articulated, transparently shared. Awesome, awesome stuff. I went to that website that he shared, everybody. If you didn't go, it's freerevsharetools.com, and it opens up a Google Drive folder with all of the content he just offered. The slides, the PDF, the invitation script, really, really good stuff. So absolutely, it was fantastic. Fantastic, everybody. What a great experience this has been. And we are still going strong, everybody. We have an amazing next presenter, the one and only Lisa Copeland. She's a top agent. She's an investor. She's done everything from land development to professional speaking. She's an author, leader of the Lisa Copeland team at the agency by Tarek El Moussa, awarded one of the top 100 women in the automotive industry, named to the board of directors of Women in Automotive. So many amazing distinctions, a leader, a contributor, a powerhouse in everything that she does and everywhere that she goes. If Lisa is with us, I would love to invite Lisa to jump up here and join us on stage. I know we're just a couple minutes early. Lisa, are you with us?
I am. How are you?
Doing amazing. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We are so honored to have you here today. If I understand correctly, we are driving through some slides today. I just wanted to get the technical elements set up for you. I believe we have your slides. If you don't mind, I'm going to flash through them on the right-hand screen. And
Okay.
You can either drive or I will drive for you as you talk, whichever is easier for you.
I can drive, and I'm just so
Perfect.
happy I was able to jump on the stage today and not walk into a wall like the last time I spoke. I can thank Jordan and Cynthia for teaching me, for just getting acclimated to the world and to the eXp University. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's doing great today. So I think I will drive my slides. Let me just make sure here. Let's see. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get to the next slide down here. Do not see my arrow to advance it. Can we advance to my next slide?
Sure, we can. Absolutely.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Okay. Yeah.
You
so
call it out,
I'm
and I'll
seeing.
advance for you.
Yeah, keep going, please. One more slide. Let's see where we're at.
Do you see them changing, Lisa? They're over here on the right hand
I do
screen.
not. I do not. I'm wondering if maybe my slides are not uploaded. They were definitely uploaded yesterday when we went through rehearsal.
So are you looking at the right hand screen of the
Basically,
3 screens? It says
I
crushing mediocrity in real estate, the 1% club.
yes, that's it. I'm not seeing the slides on mine on the presentation tool.
Okay, so you'll have to turn your avatar a little bit. There's 3 screens in World, and if you're facing the 3 screens, kind of turn around like with your back to the audience. Then it'll be the right-hand screen, and you can click on that right-hand screen with your mouse. It looks like you may have done it or someone else did, and then those are your slides. And the arrows are in the bottom left-hand corner of your presentation tool once you click on that right-hand screen.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I'm not seeing that. I had it all. Let me see here. Drag to restore. Well, I'm not able to see them. But that's okay because I know my presentation. So I hope everyone's doing great today. My name's Lisa Copeland, and today I'm going to talk about crushing mediocrity in real estate. And so I wrote a book back in 2016 called Crushing Mediocrity: Rising Above the Status Quo. And when I wrote that book in 2016, I had just sold the #1 car dealership in the world, #1 for Fiat and Alfa Romeo. And I had led a team that broke a world sales record. And I was just at a point in my career where it was time to sell. It was time to get out. I needed to do something different. It was like I had rung every bell I could ring. And so I did not want to stay mired in mediocrity. And I just felt like the thing that held people back the most was the fact that they were mediocre, and the fact that they were not willing to do the work. And so, it's okay to be in the middle. And there's a lot of agents out there right now. I've got a fairly big team, not near as big as some of our other presenters, but I think today I hit number 400 on my team. I started with eXp in June of 2020, and I was a new realtor. And the way it came about is I had sold my dealership in 16. I had gone to Canada. I had done a television show with Kevin O'Leary. He was the producer from Shark Tank, and it was called Car Shark. And I wrote a couple books. I had a radio show, a syndicated radio show on iHeartRadio called Cars Her Way. I was speaking for corporations, Fortune 5s, Fortune 1s, talking about how to get unstuck in sales. And then COVID hits. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And that was in March of 2020. I was in Chicago and I was talking to Allied Moving Vans. And oh, good, Curtis. Okay, keep on that slide right there. Thank you so much. I was on stage talking to them. I was the closing keynote speaker, and I was planning to spend the night. I was going to meet with the leadership of their global company because I was going to train their salespeople how to get unstuck. The meeting planner comes to me and she says, "You need to go home now. We've chartered a plane because anyways, that's how they flew me in there. We have a plane at Chicago O'Hare, and we're going to fly you out tonight." And I said, "How come?" She said, "Well, because there's Chicago's going to be shut down tomorrow due to COVID, due to actually coronavirus." And I was like, oh my gosh. I get to the airport and I go through there. I'm the only one without a mask, without gloves. I mean, I was terrified. And I get back on this plane, I'm flying home, and I thought, what am I going to do? One thing I did not tell y'all about is that my background is I started a mortgage company prior to going into the auto industry, Austin Mortgage. We're still in business today. It's been 26 years, and my husband runs it. So I do have an extensive background. I had a custom home building company, mortgages. When I got home, I thought, what am I going to do? I don't want to just sit in my house. And every speaking gig I had been canceled. And I got an email. So here I'm jumping into the eXp story now. I got an email from a friend of mine, and it was Haas Pratt. And many of you know who Haas Pratt is. He wrote the book, The Listing Boss. In fact, he'll be doing a presentation in this Level Up conference. And I got an email from him. And so I picked up the phone and I called him. And I said, so, okay, number one, have a drip campaign. I was never going to go into real estate. Who'd have thunk it that a pandemic would have hit and shut down my entire business in one day? One day, everything, my agent I got canceled. And so I picked up the phone and I called him and he said, hey, I'm working with Tariq Al Musa from HGTV. The common denominator is that Tariq, myself, and Haas had all been under management from this marketing company out of New York. And I said, huh. And he said, do you have a real estate license? And I said, well, I've almost got it finished. I was just going to get it because I was going to buy a bunch of properties this year and flip them. And he said, well, are you interested? And I said, I am. So I finished. So I literally, y'all, I got on in my car. I live in Austin, Texas. I got in my car and I drove to Dallas very next day, which is where Haas was. I didn't know the company he was with. I didn't care. Because what I knew is that I trusted my friend Haas Pratt. I knew who Tariq Al Musa was, and I wanted to be a part of something big again. And so, sometimes you never know what people's motives are going to be. Because if somebody would have told me 90 days prior, I was going to join eXp Realty, I was going to be a licensed realtor, I was going to build a team, I would have said, are you crazy? No way. So, life's circumstances take you to the place sometimes. So, takeaway number one is that you've got to keep up with people. You want to create an email list. You want to create a list of contacts. I was just doing training today for my team, and I was talking about social media. Right? You've got to stay at the forefront of people's minds. And I thank God every single day that Haas Pratt sent me that email. I thank God every day that I got in my car just based on mine and Haas's personal relationship and drove 3 hours to Dallas, Texas to have a face-to-face meeting with him. Thank God every day that I got on the phone with Tariq Al Musa and understood the vision of what they wanted to do with this team, knowing that I know how to build world sales breaking teams. So I want to put it out there. If you want to text, I've got it up on the screen. If you want to text crush it, and that's all one word, go text to 33777 and then text the word crush it in there. I want to give you I'm going to send you an electronic copy of my book, Crushing Mediocrity. So that'll take you through the 10 steps. But today, can we go to the next screen, please? Because it says Curtis Dixon has control. Okay, good. I want to show you a picture, just a small sliver of my amazing team. This was when I was in Scottsdale, Arizona, about a month and a half ago. I flew in for an agent attraction event. Brian Colhane's in this picture, not in this picture, but I have the supreme privilege of working with the Colhanes every day as they're in my upline. He showed up that night. The beautiful woman in the blonde hair sitting, I'm actually in the white suit sitting in the front. I'm the nonconformist. Sharon Lecter, the co-author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Sharon is with Robert Kiyosaki. Sharon's one of my very best friends on planet Earth. I was up at the ranch. I was up at her ranch, I don't know, maybe a year ago after I joined eXp, and I was on a call with Tariq and Haas, and we were just talking about some things. I get off the phone and she said, my dear, what are you doing now? And I said, oh, eXp Realty. And she said, well, why haven't you told me about it? And I said, because you're Sharon Lecter, you're a New York Times best-selling author. You've sold 38 million books. She said, I wrote the book, my dear. I wrote the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I understand multi-economic engine that eXp is. I want to know more. So I had the opportunity that night when I had she and her husband at their ranch, and I presented it to them. Michael Lecter went and got his real estate license. He's one of the top IP attorneys in the world, but they saw such value in the fact of being able to create a downline, to be able to create an income stream, right? Leveraging their influence. They signed up right away. This picture you all are seeing is just a part of their team. They are absolutely crushing it, and neither one of them have sold a house, right? So part of what I'll tell you about this is you never know who's listening to you. I was not having that conversation with Haas and with Tarek to do anything other than I was at the ranch, which I like to go to about every 90 days, but she was listening, and she overheard what we had to say and saw the value in immediately. So you want to have these conversations. You want people to hear you talk about it, and you always want to speak well of eXp. Can I see my next slide, please? All right, so I'm going to talk to you all today about the 3 models of crushing it at eXp. And I think that you all see that I do have a theme to crushing it, because I don't think that mediocrity or not winning, I mean, the only way to get past it is to crush self-doubt, limiting thoughts. You have to destroy them, okay? You have to destroy them, because I am living proof that anything is possible when it comes to real estate. I had never sold a house prior to June. Let's see, I joined eXp in June. I think I sold my first house in July of 2020. And, I will icon this year. And, it's about starting the conversations, right? It's about believing, because I believe that if I'm going to lead one of the biggest teams at eXp, that I have to be in the trenches every day. So I'm not telling my team what to do or how to do it. I'm living it and I'm walking it every single day. And then I'm sharing with them the wins and the losses. All right, next slide, please. All right, so what is the best vehicle? So I think about that. Now, again, I am a firm believer in fate. I'm a firm believer that when you pray for something, that God will deliver it. And I prayed that if I was going to get in this real estate game, if I was going to do something different after I had to completely pivot what I had been doing the last 4 years, what would it be? And, and of course, then I get the email from Haas Pratt, just out of the blue. He had no idea what was going on in my life, by the way, no idea whatsoever. And so, I wanted to find what is the best vehicle for my success. And I think every one of you need to think about that. And then you need to think about that when you're talking to other people. And I love SpaceX. I love the whole model of Elon Musk. So for those of you who don't know, SpaceX was founded in 2002. Elon, with the goal of reducing space transportation costs to enable the colonization of Mars. Like, wow. Now, when I was a car dealer, I had the privilege of meeting Elon Musk because I was invited to Tesla out in California after my team had broke the world sales record. And so, I was able to meet some of the Tesla executives. I got to shake Elon's hand. And, it's really amazing what he's done. But what he's done is really not a lot different than what Mr. Glenn Sanford did, right? It's one of those things, like Martin Luther King said, like, I have a dream, right? And if you have the vision to be so audacious to build something like SpaceX, I mean, if you think about it, Elon Musk wants to enable the colonization of Mars. Okay, that's pretty audacious. And then you think about what Glenn Sanford did 12 years ago. He wanted to create a virtual real estate office back when everybody had bricks and mortar. And I don't know about a lot of you, because again, I think I started at this really magical time at eXp in the fact that nobody could go into their bricks and mortar. So now all of a sudden, people had to make a pivot. All of a sudden, like, I didn't have to sell against bricks and mortar to be able to bring on some of the best and top agents at eXp, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. I didn't have to sell against that because the world has gone virtual. And I know a lot of people sitting in this audience today that you have had to sell against that bricks and mortar model. Well, it's, it's yesterday's news. I mean, to me, it almost equates to, going to NASA, and NASA says, well, we're going to put another man on the moon. Well, why? Who cares? Look what the best model is, right? And basically, what Elon Musk is doing, I mean, he is a private aerospace company, and and he puts into he orbits into satellite, and he delivers cargo. He's not been an overnight success. He owned PayPal, and now of course he's got Tesla. And, so with all of that being said, you've got to have the vision. You've got to believe to your very soul. If you want to be successful when it comes to agent attraction, you've got to believe to your very soul that this is the best vehicle. It's the only vehicle that is going to get you to Mars. It's the only vehicle that is going to take business and any potential agents that you're going to attract business to Mars also, right? And so I use this analogy a lot of times, that so many people thought that Elon Musk was absolutely crazy, that he was absolutely insane, and how could he manufacture a car that was electric and not have a dealer franchise system to distribute it? All of the above, right? So for those of us, that are just crazy enough to believe, I encourage every single one of you out there to be crazy enough to believe that you can go and you can build a huge empire and a huge organization, as long as you, number one, you tell the story, you tell it in front of people, you ask people. Dumb me even asked Sharon Lecter what she thought, but she overheard a conversation. I got into a car and I drove to Dallas, really not knowing many details. I'm a pretty busy person, but I trusted the person who called me, that answered the phone after I answered his email, Haas Pratt. He had been my friend. He and I had done some deals together, non-real estate. So I trusted him. So who do you know in your sphere of influence that trusts you, that believes you? Who out there is a major influencer that you could give them the vision of eXp and explain the vehicle that we have that is so unique to the real estate industry? Because if it's not them, they're going to know somebody. I promise you. All right, next slide, please. So we have what I would call a multi-economic model. And why is it a multi-economic model? Because we have several ways to be able to monetize what agents do every single day. Now, I'm going to be careful so I don't get in trouble with compliance. I've already had to change my slides once. So if I'm out of key at all, or out of school at all, I'll let you correct me. But so the multi-economic model. How do we earn money at eXp? How do you have this conversation with people? It truly sets us aside and separate from our competitors. No names need to be listed, because most of us, most of you, everyone out there, came from one of those brokerages. One, we are a publicly traded company, but more importantly to me, we are an agent-run company. So I had the honor, the supreme honor, of speaking this weekend in Miami for Elena Cardone's 10X Ladies. And I got to meet one of our board members at eXp, Miss Fee Gentry. We both live in Austin, but we had not connected. So that was the supreme honor for me. What a lovely, amazing woman. But, we have agents on our board of directors, right? Because we are agent centric. We have leveraged income. So I would call it something different. My leveraged income comes in every month from bonuses that I receive and commissions that I receive for the production team. And I will tell you guys, I mean, I'm averaging, am I allowed to say this, Curtis?
I was going to stay muted.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm averaging between $15,000 and $20,000 a month. Now, that is not a bad deal for somebody who joined the company in June of 2020, right? I have kept my eyes on the ball in my career, and I've had a great career, and I've had a good run. I really have. But in my career, I have never seen a business opportunity that has been more lucrative, that has had more potential, that has had more opportunity than eXp Realty. And I feel like I am doing people a disservice by not sharing it. Now, does everybody sign up? No. But let me tell you a story about a good friend of mine signed up. His name is Grant Cardone. And I knew Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone. I knew Grant from the automotive industry. Grant used to call on me when I was a car dealer trying to sell me his training. I mean, Grant himself would walk into my dealership. And as the legend goes, I didn't buy anything from him. But we always kept up with each other. We always had massive respect. He and I shared stages in the automotive industry to speak on, because he is, not was, but is a sales expert in both real estate, automotive, and financial, many other verticals. And so when I came to eXp, the day that I sat in Haas Pratt's office, Haas looked at me and he said, "Do you know Grant Cardone?" I said, "I know him very well." "Like, do you know how to get a hold of him?" I said, "His number's right here on my cell phone." Yeah. I just talked to him probably 3 or 4 months ago, because he called me from his Gulfstream wanting to know about some properties in Austin, because he was getting ready to buy some properties, some apartment complexes here. He just wanted my opinion on the area. And do you think he would ever consider something like this? I said, "You know what? I don't know, but I'm going to ask him." And so the legend goes. So I did. I called Grant several times, and several times I got "Oh, Lise, that's great. Good luck. I'll see you at the top, blah, 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 blah." And I didn't give up. Okay. That's another thing. When you're out whale hunting, or you're out looking to attract people. I knew that Grant Cardone needed to be affiliated with eXp Realty. I didn't even know that he was supposed to be on my team. I really didn't. I was really thinking about it for the health of the company. So, kind of wrap a long story, I went to Sanford and I said, "I need some help on this. He's willing to take a meeting with you. I've gone as far as I can go with him, with the president of his company. Myself, Tark, Colhane, and Haas got on a Zoom with them, but we're stalled." But what I do know about my friend Grant Cardone is that the chairman of the board to the chairman of the board, we could have one final conversation, because I believe that eXp needs Grant Cardone and Grant Cardone training technologies, Grant Cardone's brilliance. Anyways, Mr. Glenn Sanford got on the call that I coordinated and closed the deal. Many twists and turns, and they made the decision that Elena needed to get her license, and that Elena, of course, wanted to be on my team because I'm the one that introduced eXp to them. So again, who would have ever thunk it? The day that Elena Cardone texted me and said, "I need the name of a real estate school because I'm going to get my license. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be on your team." Hello. So don't ever discount anybody. Every one of you know a Grant Cardone. Every one of you know somebody out there that you think there's no way in heck that they would ever look at this opportunity. Don't kid yourself. Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone are out there, and they are shouting it from the mountaintops because of this multiple economic, okay? Because you can earn equity in the company, and you can purchase equity at a discount. You can have leveraged income, AKA passive or residual income. You can build a team, which falls into line with what they do on building an empire. You can help other people build an empire, right? For those of us out there who are saying, "You know what? I don't want this to be just about me. I want to take other people along for the ride. I want to help other people. I want to help single moms. I want to help single dads. I want to help people that have lost their jobs. I want to help people that have been forced out of their jobs." Whatever that looks like for you, the vehicle that can accommodate that. We have the training, we've got the leadership, we've got the support. We have everything it takes. And I feel so honored and just so amazed is the fact that I'm on a team that every one of my leaders, and I hope that I'm the same kind of leader, that I wake up in the morning thinking how I'm going to serve, and I go to bed at night thinking how I'm going to serve, how I'm going to serve our wonderful company and how I'm going to serve my team. You've got the ability to become a mentor, do coaching. And then, of course, last but not least, the hardest way to make money in real estate, and that is to sell, to list or sell houses. Next slide, please. And guys and gals, I'm sorry, I'm so hoarse. I spoke all weekend and oh my goodness. All right. So, the 3 C's to me, the 3 C's to success, kind of as we wrap up, there is the collaboration model, the action of working with someone to produce or create something, right? Are you collaborative? Are you ready to become more collaborative? We have a worldwide referral network. I get referrals. I mean, I happen to live in kind of a hotbed. I get referrals from everywhere. Collaborating by building a team, collaborating by training. And I will tell you, anybody here who wants to join any of my trainings, whether you're on our team or not, I have many what I call adopted eXp friends that are in other organizations that just want, some great training. So every one of you who've shown up today, you're invited. Just put your name in, order get the free book or whatever, or shoot me an email at eXp, lisa.copeland, eXp Realty, send it to me in Workplace, and you're invited to come to the trainings. Like anything I've got, I'll share. And we all feel like that. For our company to be successful, every one of us needs to be successful. It's good for stock. All right, next slide, please, Curtis. Got the expansion model, and to expand is the action of becoming larger or more extensive, right? So maybe you're just into the expansion model, which, I think about Sharon and Michael Lecter, they believe in the expansion model, and, and you don't have to do the production. See, there's many ways to cut it up. There's many ways to do and be successful at eXp. Next slide, please. The 3 C's of financial freedom. First one is consistency. It's conformity in the application of something, typically that which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness. How do you become consistent? That means you wake up every morning with a heart to serve. You work your plan. Your plan may not be my plan. All right. And my plan may not be your plan. You have a plan and you consistently work it, because success is not an overnight deal. Number 2, success leaves clues. Follow those people that have been wildly successful. Look at their stuff. Look at what they do. Call and talk to them. I talk to agents all the time from all over the country, actually all over the world, whether they're in my downline or not. If there's anything I can ever do to serve or to help somebody else be successful on planet Earth, that's why I'm here. The next C is courage. And courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. I love that definition, right? It's scary to pick up the phone and call people and say, had the last speaker, I listened to him, he was wonderful. Have you studied this model? It's scary. Where I pick up a lot of my agents are agents that are on the other side of transactions with me. I try to do majority of listings nowadays, but hey, I still work with buyers. But if I truly like an agent and they have the same heart that I do, and they're a deal maker, not a deal breaker, I absolutely pick up the phone and say, hey, I'd love to take you to lunch. I'd love to thank you for a successful transaction. I'd like to thank you for being a professional. And also, I'd like to chat with you about something. I've never had one tell me no about going to lunch. That is a free lunch. And, I've brought over about half of them. Those aren't bad odds. And the other half, I promise you, they're watching. They are watching. And then the 3rd C of financial freedom is commitment. The state or quality of being dictated to a cause. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read my things here. The stage or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. So being dedicated to a cause or activity. Are you dedicated? Are you dedicated to your success? Are you dedicated to building a legacy for your family? And those of you who have children, your children are watching. I just brought my daughter into eXp last week. It was she was on my training today. I was so excited. She's another one that would never have gotten her real estate license, but she's been watching. So I'm going to bring her in, I'm going to teach her how to run the empire, because there is going to be a day that I'm going to age out of running the empire. And I know that. So now, not only has my business become something that I get to help a massive amount of people, now I get to keep it in the family. I'm building legacy with eXp. And that to me means more than anything. All right. And then I think it's my last slide, because I think I'm just about out of time. Again, I want to offer you this book. We're going to send it to you. My team will send it out by tomorrow. Just text "crush it" to 33777. We're going to send you the digital copy of Crushing Mediocrity. And it really is the 10 steps that if you feel like you're stuck in the middle, you're just stuck, like, how do I get out of this? How do I change my mindset? We will give you the 10 ways to rise above the status quo. And I want to thank maybe my next slide. I want to thank every single one of you for taking the time today to spend an hour or 30 minutes with me. I hope I have brought value. But I just want to encourage every single one of you, have the conversations, believe and trust we have the right vehicle, and don't hold back from anybody. Everybody in the real estate industry has a right to know about eXp. So anyways, thank you very much.
Lisa, you are an inspiration. Thank you very much. Thank you for saying yes to being a part of something big again. Thank you for being ready to go colonize Mars alongside this entire eXp Realty family. If you're sitting here and you're not yet crushing it with this platform, with this opportunity, you're one decision away from linking arms with Lisa and Grant Cardone and Tarko Mosa and so many others and everybody in this room. Again, Lisa, thank you so much for your testimony, and we are so lucky to have your partnership at eXp Realty. Thank you for a great session. That was fantastic.
My pleasure. Good luck, everybody, and just continue taking notes.
Absolutely. So she gave you the 3 C's of financial freedom. It is consistency, courage, and commitment. How many of you will have the courage to honor your commitment and show up tomorrow and Thursday as we do this level up session? 2 more days this week, an amazing event, a digital hybrid conference, whatever you want to call it, however you want to think about it. Today has been phenomenal. I want to give a special shout out and thank you. We heard so many of our speakers and presenters reference today eXp University. If you're sitting here watching the live stream or you're a special guest and you don't know that eXp Realty, the fastest growing real estate brokerage on the planet, as a cloud-based platform, has the most innovative, unique digital cloud-based university that exists on the planet. Now you know. We have an entire team and staff dedicated to bringing real estate productivity and agent attraction, leadership and growth training all across the eXp world. Every single week, we have about 60 to 80 hours per week of live training classes. We partner with hundreds of certified agent instructors. So when you get sessions like this, when you get training classes and courses and events, here's what you're getting. You are getting the people that are in, as Lisa said, the trenches that are changing the world, blazing the path, and doing the work. That's who you want to learn from. That's why you're partnered at eXp Realty. And one of the visionary, I think, decisions that Glenn Sanford made many, many years ago was that we would keep our real estate productivity training free for our eXp Realty agent audience, and that we would continue to try and elevate the industry any way we can. That's why we're broadcasting this thing live on YouTube. That's why we have guest passes everywhere that you want to join, whether you're part of the eXp family or not yet, does not matter. We want to help you level up. We want to help you build and grow your business. Today has been a glowing example of that. And tomorrow, more to come. So get back in here tomorrow, the same time. You're looking at 9 a.m. Pacific time, start time. That's 11 a.m. Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, right back here in the Level Up Auditorium in eXp University. You have an amazing lineup for tomorrow, as jam-packed and full of power as today was. Last but not least, you see a couple of resources being dropped in the chat box here if you're still live with us in eXp World. And what we're doing is our university team is actually working with the growth team, and all these slides and content and stuff that's being referenced today is going to be loaded into a learning portal. And if you're an eXp Realty agent, you can click on that learning portal, log in with your eXp passport, and you'll have the slides and the videos from today by tomorrow morning. So click on it, save it on your browser, log in the morning, you'll have everything that you need. If you are a special guest, not yet with eXp, that should work the same way for you. If for any reason it does not, you might have to register, set up an account because you're not an eXp Realty agent. If for any reason it doesn't and you're a special guest, just come back in the morning, let us know, and we'll find a workaround for you to make sure you still get access to this great content in the Level Up experience. So this officially concludes day one of the Level Up Conference. We have appreciated your company, your participation. Huge thank you to all our amazing special guests and speakers. Looks like we might be trying to deploy a survey here to get some quick feedback from you all. So if you're able to hang around, sit tight. We would love to get your feedback on a survey. If not, we will deploy it in that learning portal Mind Flash link. You can complete the survey all week long. Looks like our permissions aren't quite right. Give me a sec, Candace. I'll see what I can do. So I see that. Permissions. Let's see if we can get this here going on. All right. So that's, give me 1 second, everybody, and we'll see if we can get the survey live. Nope. All right, so Candace has dropped and Cherry has dropped the link, or sorry, Cherry dropped the link to the survey live in the chat box. So if you all would click that, you should be able to log in, give us a quick review of how this event went for you all. Doesn't look like the broadcast feature is going to work live in eXp World. No worries. Jump into that survey if you would for us, everybody. We'll get the links in there. Thanks again for joining us. This has been an amazing Level Up experience. We will see you back here tomorrow morning.